You want to hear that microphone? As we did our crossover today, and, well, the message didn't get across that we are having full show tonight. We're here until 10 o'clock, full show. And the phone number, 617-779-0985. Skaz is here. We got our intern, Trent, as well. We're on YouTube. What's up, YouTube people? What's up, Jay Stu? As well, a lot to get into today. I was on yesterday reacting to some of the news that came out. I know that Doug Kyed and Andrew Callahan of the Herald had some news regarding the Combine and what the Patriots will do. We will talk to Doug Kyed tonight in just about an hour or so here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We'll talk to Brian Barrett. We'll get his thoughts on the Celtics weekend and some Red Sox stuff as well. We'll have a lot of fun tonight. I know there was a big turn in the sports entertainment world this weekend as well. So everything on the table tonight here on the show. And once again, our opening take brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Again, our opening takes brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. So the Celtics took on the Pistons, Cavs, and Denver and went 1-2. They faced the three best teams in the league over the last three games. The Pistons were on the back-to-back, no excuses. Porzingis clearly wasn't right in that game. He had 11 points. He was in the layup line in the Toronto game, then got pulled and didn't play yesterday versus Denver, where he has struggled against Nikola Jokic. So he gets the night off. But the Celtics they lose to the Pistons, and then they beat Denver in what was a great game. If you think about it, the two last NBA champions faced off yesterday at the Garden. Both teams not at full strength, but it came down to the final possession. The Cavs game, I felt as though the Celtics mismanaged their roster. The coach mismanaged the roster. Joe Missoula left Sam Hauser on the court for 38 minutes. They were on the Hauser hunt all night long. Late in the game on the biggest possession, they replaced him with Peyton Pritchard. How'd that work out? It didn't. The bench also scored just 6 points in that game. I crushed Missoula after the game. I'm glad to hear that Missoula took the blame for some of the team adjustments, as he should. How did the Celtics respond off that loss to the Cavs? With a win over Denver yesterday. They went with the double big lineup of Luke Cornett, and they put Hauser on the bench. Al Horford and Cornett had the job of stopping Nikola Jokic. While some people may not know this, but I would say right now the three best guards in the league are SGA, Jamal Murray, and Jaylen Brown since the All-Star break. And I think the team is just better with Hauser coming off the bench. He struggles defensively, but he also gives the bench that scoring that it needs. The bench responded. They scored 28 points. Denver's bench, 10. Jokic scored 20, had 14 rebounds and 9 assists. He appeared to be limping throughout the game. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know. I hope that could be an issue, by the way, for Denver down their stretch. They were without Aaron Gordon yesterday. But Jamal Murray was absolutely outstanding. And the Celtics struggled so poorly to stop the pick-and-roll defense. And there's nobody better in the league at playing pick-and-roll than Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And Murray yesterday went off in the fourth quarter, had 13 of his 24 points in the final frame. This all while Jason Tatum struggled on the day. He was 4 of 15 from the floor. He went 1 of 7 from three-point range. He finished with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Now, do I think he struggled at times because of the double team? Yes. Do I think that he had more of an emphasis of rebounding and trying to control what Jokic was doing? Yes. But it was the rest of the guys that stepped up. Al Horford had a huge game, and we'll get into him coming up in just a little bit. But I feel as though Jaylen Brown, and I told you guys this when the All-Star break ended. He missed 2 games, played in the break, but his post-All-Star game numbers the last 2 years have only gone up. Last year, it jumped dramatically, and he's already on pace to do it again in this post-break. But to really look at it, the Celtics are now 10-3 against Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Denver, New York, and Milwaukee on the season. So out of 13 tries, they have 10 wins. Sign me up. I don't think any of those teams are beating them in a 7-game series. I don't. There will be question marks. Clearly, when Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are right, they're the best team in the league and nobody can match up with them. That's just a fact. Nobody can. But there's no guarantee Porzingis will be there, and quite frankly, there's no guarantee Drew Holiday will be there. Just as I'll be consistent, Donovan Mitchell has been absolutely outstanding. But what happened last year? Couldn't play in the remainder of the series. I said he tapped out, but, we'll see what happens this year. Getting back to Jaylen Brown. Questionable heading into the game. He's been dealing with right knee pain. I don't know if it's a knee injury, but he's been dealing with right knee pain. He led the Celtics yesterday with 22 points, went 6 of 15 from the field. He had 8 assists, 5 rebounds. I know his knee bothered him all game long. If you go back to the Cavs game, he got into foul trouble. They had no replacement off the bench defensively. And usually it's the Jason Tatum minutes when he sits on the bench that the team struggles. It was when Jaylen Brown was on the bench the team struggled in that game. But Brown was absolutely outstanding yesterday. 37 minutes for the Green. Since the All-Star break, he's 44 from 84 from the field. He's shooting 52%. Post-All-Star break in 5 games, he's averaging 25 points per game, shooting 50% from the field, and 57% on twos inside the paint. Before that, in the 46 games, he was averaging 22 points per game, 46% from the field, and 53% from two-point range. He's gotten better shooting twos. For those who don't love them shooting threes, he's certainly the guy that gets in the paint, and he talked about it yesterday. He talked about whenever his feet get inside the paint, he knows he can make the shots. The Green got their best player from last year to play at a level post All-Star break this season. They're getting it right now. And I think that Tatum right now is literally playing like the best player in the NBA. And I got more on Tatum, who, by the way, is celebrating his 27th birthday today. I know the team doesn't have Holiday. I know they don't have Porzingis. They should have beat the Cavs the other night without him. It was a breakdown in Missoula is who I blame on that one. But I will tell you this, Celtics fans, and I will tell the rest of the NBA, Jaylen Brown is coming alive right now. I know he's battling. He is coming alive. And one other thing, just when you think Al Horford might be washed, he has a huge game stopping the best player on the planet in Nikola Jokic yesterday. Yeah, he held him one assist shy of a triple-double. But the Celtics 10-3 this year against the best teams in the NBA. We'll find out what the deal is with Kristaps Porzingis. We do have an update on Drew Holiday's finger and what finger it was. So I'll tell you what that is coming up in a bit. But I wanted to just highlight the Celtics over the last couple of games. Yes, they've gotten out to big leads. Yes, the other team has come back. Late in the game, though, it's been Jaylen Brown that's made the biggest impact. And that, to me, is a sign that the Celtics are back on track. The funk is over. Although they lost 2 in a row, if Jaylen Brown plays like this and stays healthy, the repeat is on. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. What's up to our friends on YouTube as well. We're here until 10 o'clock tonight. Got a full show, and I wanted to get into Al Horford's night. We'll do that next right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Lead for Jalen. He attacks, hands to the trailer, and now Horford lays it in. Timeout, Mike Malone. The Celtics make defensive plays. They turn a fast break into an opportunity, and they get a very friendly bounce from the rim.
That sequence right there was the game. And we're back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Got Skaz here tonight. Trent, our intern, who's been doing our graphics. Shout out to him. See our friends also on YouTube. There, some interesting commentary in that YouTube chat right now, which we'll get to in a second here. But just wanted to set up that final sequence you just heard there. They were trying to get Murray on Horford. They were trying to go. It was one-on-one. I didn't like it. Like I said, Murray scored, 13 points in the fourth quarter. They got the switch that they wanted. And Horford, with his length, because there's been a lot of size talk on the station today, you know? As we said, size matters on this show, and I think the wingspan of Al Horford mattered against Jamal Murray yesterday. That forced the turnover, not to mention took it coast to coast. I was watching Jokic go coast to coast like 7 times yesterday. And then when Horford did it, I felt like it was just the exclamation point. Kind of love that. So I crushed Missoula the other night, but, you know, someone in the chat mentioned the Celtics have underperformed. And I would just love to push back on that one. When you play Cleveland and Donovan Mitchell and Garland and Mobley, they switched to the zone, and Missoula struggled to really get anyone going. They shot 12 threes in the second half. But defensively, they didn't know how to switch. They did not really make any adjustments whatsoever in that game. That's why they lost. What I like is they put Cornette in the starting lineup. Hauser to the bench. Horford took it upon himself to go up against Jokic, but also different splits. There was Porter out there at times, right? You saw the adjustment from Missoula. It was a learning experience. It was man, we need to be better at this pick and roll defense. The way that they looked against the Cavs, they should not have been this good against Denver. Denver was all over it. Now, I know the Celtics got out to the hot start. They got out to the big lead. This always happens. It's a game of runs. Good teams go on game of runs. But the fact that it was Horford who can switch and make that play, I know he's the elder statesman. At times, he does show his age. But the guy can play the pick and roll defense. And it was the game changer yesterday. And I saw progression from Missoula. And it still shows that Al Horford in big games can make big-time plays. It might not always show up on the scoreboard or in the box score. But it showed yesterday for Al Horford, no doubt about it. So when the people say they underperformed, I disagree. Young Joe Missoula still makes mistakes. Young Joe Missoula at times doesn't put the Celtics in the best situations to win games. He also, getting 6 points from the bench the other night, he needs to find ways to get Pritchard open and other guys involved. That's on Missoula. So when you say the Celtics underperformed, I push back. Because I think that they showed growth in a win against a team that is a champion. That, yeah, was out without Aaron Gordon, and maybe it's a different story, but it's also a different story without Porzingis and Drew Holiday. But as the clock, right there, 40 seconds left in the game, Denver had a chance to make, really to make it a one-possession game. It was 104-99 at the time. They got the switch. And Jamal Murray tried to dance on Horford, but as we know, that wingspan and the defensive that he played, he forced Murray to try and pass the ball to Jokic. He tipped it, stole it. Derek White grabbed the loose ball in the fast break, pushed it ahead to Jaylen Brown, got it back to Horford, bing, bang, boom. Laid it in. Celtics went up 110-103. And I will say that Jaylen Brown said he should have dunked it, but he's got kids, so we let it slide. I love that quote. But Al Horford, one of his best two-way performances of the year, 19 points, 7 of 12 shooting at 8 rebounds and 3 steals. Guy's 38 years old, defended one of the best players in the NBA. He shows just he still has that defensive versatility and made the biggest play of the game yesterday. It was crucial. He was crucial to the Celtics winning. And he shows up in any role that they ask him to play, whether it's coming off the bench, starter, you name it. He always responds. And yesterday against Jokic, and then in the pick and roll, he was outstanding. So, Skaz, I know you guys did the Green Teamers last night. At times, I do forget about Horford because he does all the little things. And, I look at him as sometimes like an offensive lineman. He doesn't get the credit at times when the team really does well. That switch, I did worry a little bit on it. I worried. But why worry? He is one of the best defenders in the league, whether it's against Giannis or LeBron. He's the guy who takes the challenge every time. The best player for Denver was Murray because Jokic didn't look the same. And I know the guy almost had a triple-double. Play of the game right there, and I see progression from Missoula in the defense just from the game before against the Cavs. They're the best pick-and-roll offense in the league. And I credit the Celtics for the win yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think both games count, Joe. That was something we talked about a little on Friday night. Jay Stu and myself talked about a little last night, too, where, just because the Celtics are missing guys or Denver is missing guys, these games still count. So I'm in the camp that Friday night was a bad loss and Sunday was a good win. And I think the Horford thing, is great. It was awesome to see him, play to that level, something that he hasn't been doing as much this season. But it's also a little worrisome for me because last year they were so dominant and so good that you felt, they don't always need Porzingis. They can get there without him. Horford doesn't have to be at his best. They can get there without him. I don't feel that way this year. I think they need all of these guys to be healthy if they're going to repeat. For me, yesterday was definitely more about the bench and, getting legit minutes from Kyed, getting legit minutes from Pritchard, Hauser, guys that really struggled. I don't even know if Kyed played on Friday night. Torrey Craig, again, only 6 minutes, so that's something that we've kind of been monitoring what's up with his minutes lately. Is it the playbook? Is it he's not in shape, but you'd have to think he's in shape because he was, playing basketball before he was traded here. So that's something that, I'm interested to see why we're not seeing more Torrey Craig. Maybe they're saving him for when Jalen does, rest his knee. Or
he talked about it a little bit, Missoula. So there's something there.
Yeah,
with
he
Craig.
gave the classic coach speak, like, guys, 2 minutes can be as important as 20 minutes, and that kind of thing. The Tatum yesterday, I did not think Tatum was great yesterday, and I think it's because of the fatigue. I thought you saw a very fatigued Jason Tatum yesterday. He was an all-world player on Friday night against Cleveland, and when they're missing pieces, he has to do everything, and I thought his shot decisions and some of his passing decisions were not great yesterday. And I think that's just the trickle-down effect of the roster not being at 100%. So that's just another thing, another small thing that, goes into Porzingis and Holiday not being out there is it wears on these other guys. I thought Jaylen Brown was tremendous yesterday. 8 assists for Jaylen is... That's when Jalen's at his best for me, is when he's creating his own shot and creating shots for other guys, something he struggled to do at times earlier in his career. He's been much better at it this season. So for me, a good weekend for the Celtics. I think Evan Mobley is the difference maker for Cleveland.
Yep.
If they do get the Celtics in a series, that's a guy that you need Porzingis for. If you don't have Porzingis in that series, then I think that is a legit competitive series.
I also want to just shout out Derek White. When he's, I don't want to say when he goes, the team goes. But, man, when he struggled early on, the team had some issues. Yesterday, Derek White, 17 points, 5 of 11 from 3, and just hits clutch shot after clutch shot, man. So, the two heroes yesterday to me were White and Horford. I don't think Tatum was great. Brown was outstanding. Just an update on Porzingis. Still dealing with an illness. Don't know what it is. But Drew Holiday has a mallet finger. So I have one too. I broke my finger years ago. I didn't put it in a splint, so now it has that curve. Sounds like Drew Holiday is suffering it on his right pinky finger. He has a small cast on it, doesn't plan on having surgery. He's treating the pain, no timetable on his return. But he basically said the finger is broken. And I, again, could show you many photos of people who have those type of fingers. I think that's a 2 to 3 week thing. There is a way you can play. You can tape both your fingers together. So I think when the playoffs come, he'll be ready to go. But as far as now until the end of the year, they're short. And yesterday they moved on from their second-round pick and brought in a G League player named Lewis that can literally shooting 39% with the Grizzlies minor league team. So he won't be eligible for the playoffs, but if they need a guy that can shoot and he's at 6'8" and defend, maybe that's the guy they want to lean on. But moving on from a two-way player and a second-round pick, dude probably can play. So we'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. Celtics big winners. I did want to just touch on the Bruins weekend. And I said it the other night. Swayman was going to sit on Saturday, watch the team win. It happened. I got more on the Boston Bruins, and I wanted to look at some lottery odds just to see where the Bruins could fit in on that. We'll do that next. Let's get to the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Celtics winners yesterday, 110-103 over Denver. Jaylen Brown with 22 points. Al Horford, the star of the game, with 19. Nikola Jokic, just 1 assist shy of a triple-double. He had 20, while Jamal Murray and Christian Braun, 26 and 24 apiece. Green off until Wednesday when they take on Portland. I believe no Robert Williams in that game, so he'll miss the Celtics once again. Bruins, they lost to the Wild last night. Well, now they're off, and, we don't know the status of Brad Marchand, who has missed some time. More injuries for the Bees. The Bengals today officially placed a franchise tag on wide receiver T. Higgins. Devontae Adams is available for a trade. He's currently with the Jets. Eagles, they released a cornerback, Darius Slay, and, Jimmy Johnson. He has announced his retirement from Fox. He was in the studio for all those years, and everybody loves Jimmy Johnson and his hair. And, the Red Sox and Orioles today played to a 6-6 tie. Nobody likes ties, except for Ty Anderson. Headlines, they are brought to you by Wedgwood Pines Country Club in Stowe. Now accepting new member applications. Enjoy a pristine 18-hole championship golf course with practice area, indoor golf simulators, and a 19th hole with covered outside seating and fire pits. Apply now at wedgwoodpines.com.
Bruins are running out of time as Coyle tries to get it back into the attack zone. He does, but the horn will sound, and the Wild will hang on for a 1-0 victory here on their home ice. So the Bruins get shut out here on the road, and the Wild celebrate with their goalie Philip Gustafsson, who will get his 4th shutout of the season.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Full show tonight, everyone. We're just recapping things from the weekend. Got into the Celtics. Just had somebody literally say, pump the brakes on Al Horford being one of the best defenders in the league. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure he's a very good defender. Very good defender, and I'll die on that hill. You just heard Ryan Johnston's call. The Bruins lost yesterday to Minnesota. Gustafsson got the shutout, and another night where the Bruins make a goaltender look like Patrick Roy. Where is the offense, everybody? Where is the offense? But we'll get to that in a second here. I said this the other night. Swayman played 3 in a row. Lost every game. 3-0 leads. 2-1 leads, down 2-0. Lose. So I said, hey, Saturday, what do you think? Korpisalo in net? He was, and guess what? Winner! And then it's Jeremy Swayman back in net versus Minnesota. He had 21 saves in the loss. The Bees have lost 6 of their last 7 games, and Swayman has been in net for all of them. Bruins play without Brad Marchand, though, who left with an upper body injury on Saturday. Does not look good. When they say upper body injury, you have to assume the worst. No timeline on his return. Bad time for injuries for the Bees. And now they're starting to mount a little bit. Marchand's out now. McAvoy's already missed time, got hurt in a game that didn't count. Lindholm is done for the season. Trent Frederick's going to miss some time now. Patra had an awful hit into the boards or the door the other night. So McAvoy, Lindholm, Frederick, Patra, Marchand. That's who they're not playing with. Like, Brad Marchand's supposedly in negotiations with the Bees on an extension. So right now, the injury, not in favor of being traded. It's not legitimate. But the circumstances right now, he's going to miss time because of the injury. So therefore, the March 7th deadline this week, he's not getting traded. Frederick, could he get traded? This has been an awful year for Jeremy Swayman. I can't say it enough. The discussions during the offseason about doing what he went into business for himself. He got his money. Ownership said there's Cam Neely said there's 6 million reasons why he should play. He got his money, and this is the performance. This is the performance you get from Jeremy Swayman. Now, getting back to the goal scoring, I don't know what to tell you anymore. You're without all these guys. Nobody can score. The only one who can is Pasternak. He had his 17-game point streak snapped in the shutout. Think about it. For the last 17 games, they have struggled so bad, but yet he has been their best player. Bruins host Nashville in their next game. But I wanted to just float something out there. Skaz, maybe I can entertain you with this one. And then you can shut it down. Okay? So the Bruins have, what have they played? 60 games so far? What's their record? They're They're 28, 26, and 8. So, Joe math, that would be 62 games. So there's 20 games to go. I know they're a fringe playoff team. Would you say that the Bruins are closer to the playoffs or closer to the NHL lottery right now? Because this isn't a 50-50 yes situation. What do you think they're closer to being? A lottery team or a playoff team?
As currently constituted with the roster they have, I'd say a lottery team, Joe.
I like that answer. I love that answer. I think the Bruins need to commit to tanking. They need to commit to it. The remaining schedule. Have you looked at this thing?
Oh, yeah. Me and Kevin were just doing this earlier.
All right, then. I'm so glad I wasn't involved in this conversation. Should we pull up the schedule? Let's do it. Listen, no one's ever in favor of tanking, but you know what? I asked the question. Are they closer to being a playoff team or a lottery team? So let's pull up the old sketch. Look at this thing. Nashville at home. Then Carolina, Tampa Bay on the road. You'll get both goalies, right? One loss. One loss. Florida. Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Vegas, San Jose, Los Angeles, Anaheim. By the way, Vegas, San Jose, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Detroit, all on the road. So, I mean, I just loss. Loss. Then Washington, Montreal, Carolina, Buffalo, New Jersey, Chicago, Pittsburgh, New Jersey. 8 for 20? Am I giving them too much credit? 8 for 20, right? Should we split it in half to be fair? 20 games, they go 10-10? Are they a 10-10 type team in a 20-game span right now? No. I think they've played what, 13 games, so they're 5-7 in the last 5-8.
They're 3-5-2 in their last 10.
Thank you. Joe math going on over here. So, if you really want to look at it, have some fun with some percentages here. The NHL draft lottery and the percentage chance to win the first overall pick. The Bruins currently have the 12th spot. If they sell at the deadline, they would move up. Right now, they have a 2.5% chance. You go up to 9, you get a 5% chance.
Ooh.
Now, can they get bottom 5? I don't know. I don't know.
The bottom of the NHL is very bad.
Okay, can they get top 8?
I think that's achievable.
Okay, that's 6% chance. Would you go for it? I would. Now, I'm not you know what? I am the tanking type. Who am I kidding? I wanted the Patriots to lose the last game of the year so they can get the number 1 pick, which we'll get to later. But I ask you all out there, are the Bruins closer to being a playoff team or a lottery team? And the answer is lottery. Do you think they should tank?
Do I think they should tank? I certainly don't think they should add at the deadline, Joe. I certainly don't think they should do anything to make this current roster better. So, yeah, I guess in a way that's tanking. What really stands out to me, though, when you look at the Bruins in the standings, like you mentioned, they're what, 12th right now is where they sit for the draft? Is 12th?
Yeah, and I need to look up the picks because, I know they've traded so many, I can't even remember if they have it. I'm just spitballing like a reason. I believe they have the pick, right? Because they can't trade any of their picks, right? Because I'll look it up right now.
But what stands out to me is look at the Bruins' goal differential. They're a minus 28 this year because they just don't score. They refuse to put the puck in the net. There are only 5 teams in the NHL who have a worse goal differential than the Bruins. That means you are a bottom tier team to me. That just means you don't score enough. They're just bad. They're not a good hockey team right now. With that goal differential, with the rosters they have, with the roster they have right now, sell at the deadline and yeah, try and get a good pick. They're not going to get anywhere near a top 5 pick, but I certainly don't want them extending themselves at the deadline or doing anything to try and make this current roster any better.
All right, so I got this from Nick Goss. So NBC Sports Boston. So they have a first round pick in 25, but not a second round pick. They have a third round pick, not a fourth round pick. So they do have their first round picks 25 and 26. So that's at least that's good to know. But just thinking about where they're at right now, I feel like at some point you got to think about, and right then the draft comes up, right? What do they do in the draft? I actually have to. I had to look into that because I was trying to, air fry a take there for a little bit. Like, if you're going to suck, should you at least try to suck? Try to suck a little bit more? Try to get into that draft category? So anyways, that's my Bruins take. Feel free to call in at 617-779-0985. That's the phone number if you want to jump aboard. I do want to bring up something that happened over the weekend. It was probably the biggest news over the weekend. Because we've talked Celtics and no one cares. We've talked Bruins. Nobody cares. So you know what? Let's talk something else. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub. Solak and Bertrand get you through the midday. Joe Murray gets you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
On the Sports Hub.
John Cena. What the? Oh my God, John, what the hell are you doing? The final boss, John, what the hell? Always has a plan. Cena with brass knuckles. It's a Rolex, Cole. And Cody could have had every Rolex he could have ever dreamed of, but instead he's getting his ass beat by John Cena because the final boss said so. Come on, John, just stop. After everything he's accomplished in his career, he's gonna stoop to this. You gotta be kidding me. This is absolutely ridiculous. Cody could have had it all. It was his choice. Somebody.
Those wrestling fans out there, forget about this. Sports entertainment. The Oscars were last night, right? Did you see Batista? He was there. The Rock and John Cena made a list yesterday of highest paid actors. So for those who say, I hate wrestling talk, get used to this for a minute. Because sports entertainment's legit. WWE's legit. It's not the Vince McMahon run thing anymore. But the storyline of late has been The Rock, who you guys know, Dwayne Johnson. He's the owner, one of the owners of TKO, who owns WWE and Endeavor. He has a storyline against Cody Rhodes. For those who know Cody Rhodes, his father was Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. For 330 days, Cody Rhodes has been the champion for WWE. He won at WrestleMania last year. And the winner of the previous event was John Cena. And right now, the WrestleMania match is going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. The storyline heading into this was The Rock wanted Cody Rhodes to join him. And he said he wanted to take his soul. And Cody had a choice to make. Does he want to continue to be Cody or does he want to join forces with The Rock? And his commentary was, Rock, you can go bleep yourself. Everyone popped, even John Cena. Everyone loved it. Cena loved it so much, he gave dap to Cody. He hugged him. But as he was hugging him, The Rock gave a certain kind of motion. It pointed right in on John Cena's face. And John Cena turned heel.
Yeah, but whose side is he on?
That's right. Whose side is he on? He is now on The Rock's side. It's 2025, and The Rock and John Cena have joined forces. It will be heel John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I just wanted to bring this up quickly. As you just heard there, what side is he on? Dusty Rhodes was on the commentary for Hulk Hogan's heel turn, which happened 29 years ago. The biggest heel turn in history, by the way. So two Rhodes have been involved in the biggest heel turns in sports entertainment history. But I feel like this has elevated Cody to another level. People thought Cody needed a turn because of he's getting a little stale. I think this now puts Cody on the map forever as the guy John Cena turned heel against. Now, Skaz had a take earlier that he thinks it's a work, which I'll agree with you. It is. It probably is a work. This is what they do. But some guy goes, pink shirt dude talking wrestling. This is compelling grown men quit watching wrestling at 12. This is not wrestling. This is sports entertainment. Sir, thank you for listening, dick. John Cena going heel is a huge story. He never was going to do it. He's a Make-A-Wish guy. He has been the face of the company for 25 years. He was never going to go heel. He announced that he's going to retire at the end of the year. And instead of just mailing it in, he's going to take it seriously. I love this. If The Rock and John Cena can be involved in sports entertainment, But everybody can go and watch The Rock's movies and John Cena's movies. Why is it bad to watch wrestling? Man in chat. This was a huge storyline. Yesterday morning, I was on at 10. At 11 a.m. yesterday, there was over 104 million downloads of this. 104 million, bro! This is a huge story. People want to hear dart talk instead of wrestling talk. That's on you, bro. The dart stuff ain't getting over, but you know who is? John Cena as a heel, baby. Now, Skaz, I know you didn't see this, but people like to use the term grown men. Get excited for this. Why do we watch? We watch for the element of surprise. If you want to say it's wrestling, it's fake, it's predetermined in its storylines. But you know what? We do the same crap when it comes to sports. We do the same stuff. So John Cena's a huge name. He's from West Newbury, Massachusetts. He finished like 13th in gross salary for actors this year. The Rock was number 1, but yet I'm the idiot talking about it? By the way, speaking of idiots, did you hear Pat McAfee in there?
Yeah, I was going to say the two biggest disappointments in that clip is one, Pat McAfee being involved in any way. He stinks. And then just the Cena thing is a heel turn. Obviously, I'm not a giant wrestling guy, but if you were on Twitter at all on Saturday night, that was the only thing that was going on there. And for me, I think it's good for wrestling. Obviously, it seems to be the biggest story going right now. But I think it's interesting that Cena is doing it now. You mentioned a Vince McMahon angle that maybe he wasn't allowed to do it before, so now they're kind of letting Cena do what he wants. I think it is a work, just because I think that's the funniest possible angle is that the whole thing is him pretending to be a bad guy. I think that's interesting. But for Joe, a diehard like you, a man that is going to WrestleMania,
right?
Does this make you more excited for WrestleMania?
Yes.
Like, are you more excited today than you were, say, Saturday morning?
Yes. Star power, baby. Storylines. Again, WrestleMania is Easter weekend. The night of Easter. You're going to be watching this. And there's people right now. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. When it's all over your Twitter feed and you're scrolling, you will. And by the way, it's free on Netflix. I don't know. Local guy? Can I make this local guy good guy or no? Now,
Massachusetts Hall of Famer.
Local guy bad guy now?
Local guy good guy.
Local guy good guy? I'll save you the wrestling talk. Where? Grown man talking wrestling. Get over it, everybody.
A very sensitive chat tonight, Joe, but that's nothing new.
The Rock is the number 1 grossing actor in the world. The Oscars were last night. Like, sports, acting. Like, what am I missing here? Isn't this what we do? We're the sports hub, damn it. When we just talk chicken nuggets, is that what I should do?
We should do 4 hours on Will Campbell's arm length.
Yeah, let's arm length. Arm length. What else did we hear today? Arm length and tackles and having the 4th pick sucks. We'll get into that coming up in a little bit. Anyways, John Cena turned heel.
Trent's doing a little research on the 4th overall pick.
Thank you, Trent. Our intern, Trent, everybody. Say what's up to him. Oh, you sensitive chat. Einbein at least is consistent. I'll give you that, Einbein. You hate wrestling whenever I talk about it, but everybody else, where? It's a sports hub. They talk sports, but darts. What do you want me to mention about darts? The guy that crapped his pants, is that what you want? Because we can talk poop. I love poop. Darts and poop? In. Let's get to the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tiger Studios, this is Boston's home for sports.
He scores! What a blast by Boston! Waiting, Holiday screams, good night!
WBCFM and H2 Boston 95, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Celtics Bruins off tonight. Celtics win, Bruins lose. Bengals have officially placed the franchise tag on T. Higgins. Devontae Adams is available for a trade. Eagles released Darius Slay. Jimmy Johnson announced his retirement. Can you imagine Jimmy Johnson was an announcer for 31 years? How many Super Bowls did the Cowboys win during that time, Skez?
I believe that's zero.
Zero. Headlines there, but John Cena, can't talk about John Cena because he has 16. Did you know that?
16 titles?
16 championships.
Yeah, hang the banners in the garden. He's right up there with the Celtics.
And if he breaks the record, if he wins the next one, he breaks the record held by Ric Flair.
I saw Ric Flair not happy.
Not happy about that.
Not happy.
Not happy. Headlines are brought to you by Boston Garage, the champion of garage transformations. Do what Felger and thousands of others have done by visiting bostongarage.com for a free estimate. I'm Joe Murray, and I like wrestling.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
On my radar, but somehow I missed this one.
All right. Brian and Chad, send it to us, please. Send it to Joe Murray at 98.5thesportshub.com. We'll read it later, okay? We got people on the phones. We're going to talk to Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald coming up in a little bit. Get his thoughts. Hey, Justin is in Lynn. What's up, Justin?
Hey, Joe, it's Justin. I want to talk about the Bruins. And the Bruins folks, after they lost yesterday, and now, I agree with Skaz. I think they had a lot of repeat, and they're 2 points out of the playoffs right now, but that doesn't matter, Joe. They're a lottery team right now, and I want to let you know that I got my first round of my internship at Salem State. I finished on Saturday.
Oh, good for you, Justin. I'm glad, man.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Justin has a journey of becoming a sports writer and a sports host, and he's doing an excellent job. So I'm glad you're finishing that up, Justin. We got to get you by here some night, my man.
Yes.
You hit me up.
I would like to.
You make it happen. We'll make it happen, Justin. Appreciate you, buddy. Good on Justin. We got to get him in here some night. Let's talk to Christian in Wilmington. Hey, Christian.
Hey, Joe. First-time caller, long-time listener. Thanks for taking it. I just wanted to touch on the Bruins real quick. I just think it's utterly ridiculous that they're trying to trade Marchand right now, or that there's even rumors about it. You're talking about your captain, the only guy still on the 2011 team, and you're talking about trading him. I just think lack of respect is unbelievable. That's all I want to say.
Wait, no, don't hang up. Don't hang up.
I'm not hanging up.
Don't hang up. Okay, so he has no future contract right now. Right now, there's no. So you say it's a lack of respect, right?
I do.
I respect the organization's future. Do you?
I do.
Okay, so now we're at a standstill. There's no future contract, and he could literally give the team future assets, what they need. So tell me where the lack of respect is on my end when I'm thinking about the future. Like, think about this, Christian. They never traded. And they weren't going to trade Bergeron, but they never traded Krejci or Krug or any of these guys. They kept them forever.
You're right.
Look where they are now.
I just don't think that Marchand is the guy that you trade, and I don't think that he'd ever leave the Bruins either, like Krug did.
He said that, and that's fine. But he stinks now, and he's older. And you think he's going to get a long-term deal here at big money?
I mean, I wouldn't say stinks. Isn't he? If I'm not mistaken, isn't he lead or second in goals on the Bruins right now?
Yeah, is that good?
I mean, the Bruins aren't great. You got Pastrnak ahead. I'd say that's
all they have.
Good.
That's all they have, Christian. They have nothing else.
You're right.
But the whole lack of respect. How old are you?
19.
Nah, that's what it is. You don't get it. Does that make me an ageist, Skez?
Yeah, probably.
The lack of respect from the captain.
Joe, who was better for their respected franchise, Paul Pierce or Brad Marchand?
Paul Pierce. They both won one, though.
Yeah, but Paul Pierce is a significantly better player.
Paul Pierce. Go ahead.
What happened to Paul Pierce at the end of his time in Boston?
Well, James.
Whoa, government.
Yes, you went government on you. They traded Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and acquired multiple picks that turned into
the future.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Obviously, that's not what's going to happen with Marchand. You're not going to get the Godfather offer they got for them.
Could you get a second-round pick?
But you could get an asset towards your future. And look, I'm not, I don't think they trade Marchand, but your reasoning be that he was on the 2011 team and it's a lack of respect is terrible reasoning. If he's on the 2011 team, he's old. That's a giveaway there. Also, he's one of the only pieces you have that can get you anything. You don't have assets.
Listen, what are the Bruins going to do? Honestly, guys, I don't think they're going to really be able to do much. But do you know who I've been consistent on saying that they should trade? The backup goal? Eunice? Corpus?
I'm surprised you're not trading the starting goalie, Joe, the way you've been talking about him.
Honestly, you'd have to give him a first-round pick, right? I mean, Washington just locked up their goalie. I thought that was at least something in play. If you traded Swayman, you'd have to give up a high pick, first, second rounder. And I apologize to the 19-year-old. We love the 18 to 34 demographic. But, sir, to think about disrespect, like in all of the Patriots gave up Rob Gronkowski. Sorry, they did get something for Gronk. The Patriots literally let Belichick and Brady go for nothing. And how are they right now?
Joe, refresh my memory. I'm younger. I'm not quite 19 like the caller, but Ray Bork, pretty good player, right?
Yeah, they traded a Hall of Famer, put respect on the name.
Did he wear the C? Was he the captain?
He was the captain of the team.
What happened to him at the end of his tenure with the Bruins?
I'm not sure if anyone knows this, but he went and was traded to Colorado.
Traded with
Patrick Waugh. And guess what happened? They won the Stanley Cup. And then there was a parade in Boston.
Yeah, woof on that last part. But yeah, just relaying that it's happened.
It happens. It happens. Oh, there's more of coming in. The Red Sox moved on from Nomar and Manny.
Not really a captain there.
But Nomar, they won a championship, didn't they? When they traded him?
Yeah, because he was the problem.
Okay. Well, Gronk, they at least got like a 6th-round pick for. So, who was that 6th-round pick, by the way? Do we? And don't even bother. Doesn't matter. This one's been talked about a couple. I saw Nick is in Saugus. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
Listen, I just want to ask, what's y'all's deal with Pat McAfee? I watched that show. I know from me and a lot of folks I know, it's got a lot of people back into stuff, especially college ball and wrestling. Like, I feel like they're funny dudes, and he's a nice refresher for sports media for younger generation. And there's all this hate and divisiveness. So I just want to hear y'all's side of that.
Hang on, Nick. What are you seeing out there? What are you hearing?
No, just I heard Scad saying something. He didn't like the guy.
Yeah, I think he's a gigantic tool.
Well, what about him?
He wears a tank top and jumps up and down and yells a lot, and I think it's all performative.
Oh, man, not refreshing?
No, I don't find that refreshing at all. I think he gets good guests. I think the guest segments are interesting, but I do not find Pat McAfee, the individual, entertaining nor interesting.
You think he's bad for sports media in general, or you think he's positive?
Personally, I think ESPN firing hundreds of actual reporters and people that do their job on a daily basis for Pat McAfee is probably bad for the business as a whole.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick,
right,
Nick, real quick, I kind of enjoy the Pat McAfee show, and it's not because of Pat McAfee though.
Yeah,
I think,
boys.
I like that style.
Yeah.
I like the one man with a bunch of guys that nobody knows. Not saying that this is the format at all, because we can't do that here. But yeah. I saw somewhere that maybe a host here might have said that if you listen to Pat McAfee, you're an idiot. I thought that's why maybe you were calling.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, you saw something like that?
Yeah, here and there.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to clarify. Yes, Fred made rounds again. Do you think people are listening to that morning show?
Certainly are, Joe.
No, but I'm being serious. Like, if Fred says anything, it makes it to awful announcing or Barrett sports media.
He's got motion, Joe, as the kids would say.
Yes. He's got the Riz, you know?
I like motion better.
Okay,
but yeah.
motion, Riz, whatever. Okay, there you go, Trent. But, like, it's okay. It's okay if you don't like Pat McAfee.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We give opinions. You don't have to agree with them.
And I don't disagree with your reasoning, Skaz. All I will say is, though, I do like the show as background noise. I still have, obviously, the Sports Hub on at times. When I do my streams at Card Vault in Boston, in the background is Pat McAfee. And I think it's because it's a younger crowd. I think the younger crowd maybe doesn't care for the non-insightfulness. Like, if I'll give you insight on this show, but after 7:30, I mean, we're going poop, you know? We're going off. I don't know how much insight you're going to get after 7:30. And when the time changes next week, oh boy. After 10 o'clock's really they're going to be the safe harbor, baby. No, but that's fine. If you don't like them and I mind it, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to have two different opinions.
Some people like licorice. Some people don't.
Yes, I love Jägermeister.
Sure, yeah.
But it tastes like, you don't think it tastes like the black licorice?
Joe, I haven't had Jägermeister in a long time.
Got to be ice cold, baby. Oh. Man, I can't even tell you the last time I had a Jaeger, but you know what, though? If you ever want to clear out the old acid reflux there, nothing better than a cold shot of Jaeger. We'll talk to Doug Kyed. I'm sure he's taking some Jaeger bombs in his day. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
tonight. Started Celtics, and they're 10-3 against the best teams this year. Nobody mentioned maybe the Bruins are a little bit closer to being a lottery team than being a playoff team. No buzz. But once we talk about wrestling or Pat McAfee, everything just starts jumping a little bit. Everyone's very sensitive tonight. Very sensitive. Let's find out how Doug Kyed's doing tonight. He's from the Boston Herald, and he joins us here on the Volkswagen Dealers Export Hotline. Doug, how you doing tonight, my man?
Doing all right. How you doing, Joe?
Well, I'm great. Yesterday I was on in the morning, and I had a chance to pull up you and Andrew Callahan's great piece about the inside the Patriots free agency and draft plans. You were at the Combine. I read the article. I guess I should ask you, what was the first thing, like, when you guys went there, were you like, all right, we need to find out what the free agency plan is, or, like how did it all come together, and, like, as you were kind of asking the questions, when did it start to develop that, wow, there's actually a blueprint here for the Patriots?
Yeah, it was pretty late in the week. We got off to kind of a slow start talking to people because we were focusing on talking to Vrabel and Elliott Wolf and the pressers. But once we really got rolling, the priority really was to figure out what they want to do about free agency, because that's the first step, right? Like, the draft is still almost 2 months away right now. So we really wanted to hammer down who they were meeting with, who they were talking to, who they're talking about in free agency. And, once that came together, then we were able to ask questions about last season and the draft and Drake May and Mike Vrabel and all of these other things. But one, like, icebreaker when you would talk to anyone from the team around the league was just like questions about Vrabel or May, because those are easy. People will have their opinions about all that stuff. It's obviously a little bit harder to hammer down some of the details of what they're planning to do in free agency and draft.
So I know line is the big topic there, and you mentioned that Ravens left tackle Ronnie Stanley, could be one of the top targets. Why would the Ravens let him go? Is there a reason why they'd let him go? And I guess if he was available, I know money talks, but would Stanley consider the Patriots, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons why they would let him go would just either be money. They feel like they can't afford it. Or there were definitely some years there where he was dealing with some injuries. So if they feel like one way or the other they can figure out a more dependable plan there, it's hard to do. But like, maybe some combination of that would be why they would let him go. Or if he just doesn't want to sign for the money that they're offering. And for the Patriots, money really talks. And like, they're going to be willing to spend. I think they're going to be willing to spend big on players that they want, that they desire, that they feel are worth that money. And they know heading into free agency that they need a guy to line up at left tackle. Like, they cannot go into next season with Vidarian Lowe as their left tackle. They can't go into next season signing a couple of right tackles and hoping that one of them sticks at left tackle. So one of those left tackles, unless just no one agrees to come here, like, they are going to get top dollar from the Patriots. And the top guys left are Ronnie Stanley, Cam Robinson, and Dan Moore Jr.
So when you mentioned, asking about Vrabel and Drake May, did you ever any talk about maybe Josh McDaniels and his impact to the offense? He always likes that type of tackle, that the Nate Solder, Sebastian Vollmer type, right? Even Trent Brown, I know he was a beast, but at least he was tall, right? Was there any of that talk? Like, it's going to be Vrabel's team, but this is the type of offense that McDaniels likes to run. And I know Doug Marrone has relationships with a bunch of guys like Cam Robinson, et cetera. But do you think that that's where they're going to spend most of their money, is in free agency, trying to get better on both sides of the line?
Yeah. I think that, they are going to be willing to spend a lot of money on the offensive line. And there was some conversation about Josh McDaniels, but I would say that, just like from talking to people around the league, people are more excited about Vrabel and Drake May. And even, there's some people excited about Ryan Cowden and Elliott Wolf. They think that they're two really talented evaluators. Josh McDaniels wasn't someone who specifically came up a bunch, but I think that most people do have the belief that McDaniels would be running a lot of the same things that he was doing with the Patriots, finding a lot of those same similar players that he liked with the Patriots. And it's pretty interesting on offensive tackle. Nate Solder, Sebastian Vollmer, were both absolutely massive. Those guys were both 6'8", but they were also really athletic. So it's hard to find that combination in the league. They really only found Sebastian Vollmer where they did because, he was from Germany. He was pretty new to the sport. Nate Solder they were able to find because they had a mid-first round pick, and it seemed like a pretty strong offensive tackle class that year. So there's not really that guy, so they might just have to settle for the best option for now and then maybe hope that they can fill that out maybe for the next 10, 15 years or whatever down the line.
All right, we're talking with Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald. You also mentioned receiver that, T. Higgins got franchised today. Who knows if Godwin goes back to the Bucs there. But the DK Metcalf stuff, I think, kind of got put out today. And then there's always a lot of smoke, right? We're hearing the Patriots could be interested on a big-time receiver. I know that in the article you mentioned, they wouldn't be looking at players like Stephon Diggs. So, I mean, is it going to be a trade if you think that there is some sort of, number one receiver or top X receiver? Will it come from trade?
They'd almost have to, because the other options out there, like if Cooper Kupp gets released, I think that would be an option. Joshua Palmer is a guy that I've heard is going to make more money than people expect, but neither one of those guys, Palmer is just not a number one. Cooper isn't number one at this point in his career. So you would think that if you're able to get one of those upper echelon wide receivers, it would have to come through trade. The only guy that we know has been floated out there at this point, Brandon Ayuk. And I mean, the Patriots were interested in him last year. So I know it's a different coaching staff, but you would assume that would still be the case this year, especially since he's not going to cost as much to bring in. So I'm not sure who else the other options out there would be. I don't know why the Eagles would want to give up on A.J. Brown, but I'm sure that Mike Vrabel would welcome him onto the team. Doubt that the Jets would want to trade Garrett Wilson in division, but there's just a lot of turmoil always around the Jets. So it's interesting to see exactly how they'll do that, but there's not a lot of options in free agency, and the only real true X wide receiver that they could have in the first round of the draft is Tetairoa McMillan, and that wouldn't really be you wouldn't spend the fourth overall pick on him. You'd probably prefer to trade down in the draft a little bit to take him.
Just because you mentioned the draft, I think Travis Hunter would be the perfect guy, whether it's corner, wide receiver, whatever it is. I just feel like if they're going to pick at 4, he's the guy. And I don't know if he lands there, but I did like the exchange from Vrabel and Hunter. Hey, you're not the only guy that can play both ways. I like that. Again, there's a lot of smoke this time of year, but I think he'd be the best guy. Do they have interest in Travis Hunter? I know they met with him.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely would. And yeah, it all, I think, just depends on if he's there or not, because it seems like it's possible that he could wind up being the number 1 overall pick. It seems like him and Abdul Carter are the 2 most talented players in the draft. It's possible that the number 1 overall pick goes to Cam Ward just because of the need there at quarterback. But I feel like the Patriots would be lucky if they come out of the first round with either Carter or Hunter, because it really feels like 2 quarterbacks that have to come off the board those first 3 picks. And, it was it depended on who you would ask around the combine, but whether or not that was a possibility. One person said, yeah, I've heard that is possible that 2 quarterbacks go in the top 3 picks. One person said, they could, but it wasn't so sure. Third person said that wasn't necessarily what he was hearing, that 2 quarterbacks would go. So we're still 2 months away from the draft. A lot of things could happen. I mean, who knows, even some of the quarterbacks could flip before that point. But I would probably only expect 1 quarterback off the board in the top 3, and then Carter and Hunter to probably be the next players off the board. So if the Patriots do somehow wind up with either one of those guys, that's a massive win for them.
I want to get back to that in a second here, but I just wanted to ask you, do you know the relationship with Davante Adams and Josh McDaniels, and could that be a fit, Adams in New England?
I don't know the specific relationship there. Obviously, things didn't go great for McDaniels with the Raiders. I don't know how the team feels about Adams, but since they're out on Diggs, out on Cooper, they were out on Keenan Allen last year, they would have to, I feel like, a pretty massive shift, or I think they would have to feel like they were getting a good deal in Davante Adams to bring him in this year.
Got it. Doug Kyed, Boston Herald. Excellent article this week. You also touched on some leftovers from 2024. The Gerard Mayo situation. You reported that with the Adam Schefter leaning out before the game, some of the staff members may have spoken that, hey, we could be losing our jobs. I guess where I'm trying to connect the dots here is, do you think that maybe the coaching staff went rogue? And I understand that Joe Milton played and he looked good and the Bills are tanking, but do you think the Patriots wanted to win that game? And, 1-4, it's a gigantic difference right now as we look at it. And in hindsight, I almost feel like they won the game out of spite.
So I agree that 1-4 is a massive jump. At the same time, I talked to someone with the team who felt like that wasn't that big of a deal for them, and that honestly the bigger deal was having to go from 33 down to 38 in the second round, and having to go and not to say that's a bigger deal, because obviously it's a bigger deal in the first round, but they didn't seem to mind that much that they won that game, because it didn't seem like they thought it was that big of a difference for them in the top of the first round. I don't think it was out of spite that the Patriots won that game. I know for a fact that some coaches knew about that report. It sounds like Alex Van Pelt was not one of them that saw that report before the game, and it was kind of unclear whether or not Gerard Mayo had. But other coaches had. Jacoby Brissett had tipped off coaches. He had seen the report, told other people. So, yeah, it was there were coaches on the staff ahead of that game that knew that they were going to be fired as well, because if the head coach is fired, then they're getting fired as well. That's
me stirring the pot, not you. You didn't report that. that is me. Robin Glazer, on the other hand, you brought up Alex Van Pelt, who's now going to the Rams. Did she throw some money around that maybe some are now regretting at this point? And I guess bringing in Mike Vrabel I know she resigned, but was that the end of it for her once Vrabel became the head coach?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, because she had gotten a lot of power last season when Gerard Mayo was named head coach. It basically went there was a void of power behind the Krafts, where it used to go Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, Bill Belichick. Last year it was Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, who's busy doing a lot of other things as the president of the Kraft Group. Gerard Mayo wasn't ready to step into that role. Elliot Wolf wasn't even named an executive vice president until May. So Robin Glazer kind of took over that mantle as the number 3. And from speaking to some people around the organization, it was cutting costs that was kind of rubbing people the wrong way. But I know that, like you mentioned, for some of the new people who have joined, they came in and were like, oh, man, now we have to pay this coach this much money. We have to pay this coach this much money. Alex Van Pelt was a top 10 paid offensive coordinator last year. So, it did feel like Robin Glazer obviously had been great in her job for 15 years. She had done a lot of valuable, important stuff that went unrecognized for a number of years when Bill Belichick was head coach. But there wasn't that full football knowledge that lacked for her. And I think that was one of the reasons why she lost some of the power last year, is that once Mayo knew what he was doing, once Wolf knew what he was doing, she had less power in the football role and kind of went back to her old role. And I don't think she was overly happy about that.
Can you give us an update on what you're hearing on Christian Barmore?
Yeah, it's tough. They really aren't telling anyone, even people in meetings, behind the scenes. He's in Tampa working out. He's, they're trusting the medicine on that one, but there's a real lack of certainty about whether or not he's going to play next year. It's not like you ask people how Christian Barmore is and they're like, yep, can't wait to see him on the field in September. That's not the case. So they are looking at defensive tackles. They're heavily looking into defensive tackles. It's certainly possible that they would be doing the same thing if Christian Barmore was guaranteed to be on the field next year, but that is not the case right now. And they're preparing for a possibility that he's not going to play, which obviously is not a great sign. So if he can play, that's great, but you do have to prepare for the alternative right now.
Wow. Doug Kyed, excellent job on this Boston Herald article. We've ate a lot of meat off the bone. I know you did a podcast yesterday too. We've been playing it all throughout. I can't let you go without talking about the old heel turn. It's the two biggest actors in the world have teamed up. John Cena has gone heel. Were you shocked? And don't you feel like they've been giving us Easter eggs? Because I didn't see this thing coming, and I always feel like I got this thing. But what were your thoughts on John Cena turning heel?
I really truly was shocked. I had actually forgotten that Elimination Chamber was on Saturday night because I was so busy at the Combine. Got home Saturday morning. I was like, oh, nice. I've got something to watch tonight. And I know that everyone was kind of expecting it to be Cody who turned heel. And somehow my brain never shifted to, well, what if John Cena won and he turns heel? And then, The Rock gives him the look, does the throat slash, and I was truly felt like a huge moment in wrestling. One of those pivotal moments, like Hogan turning heel, everyone just completely shocked. So I applaud Triple H. I applaud WWE. I didn't see it coming. Seems like a lot of other people didn't see it coming. And I don't read a ton about wrestling at this point, like on Reddit and stuff like that. I definitely used to. Read a little bit heading into this, and it seemed like no one really had this peg. No one had this guess. So, I was really impressed with that, and it's going to be fun. I think it's the funnest way to lead into WrestleMania now.
Hey, what is your favorite heel turn?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably Hogan with with NWO. The one that I remember the most as a kid, it's obviously not like the best one, the most iconic one, but when Tatanka turned heel by joining the $1 Million Corporation back in the day, like there was this weeks of him turning on, like they thought Lex Luger was turning heel, Tatanka was accusing him of turning heel, all these things, and then wound up being Tatanka instead of Lex Luger. And I remember being a kid just being baffled by that, being like, oh my God, my guy's heel, because I loved Tatanka as a kid.
Oh yeah, I had I still have them, the Hasbro wrestling figures. I have I have the whole collection. The Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty at the barbershop.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that one always got me, and I love the Festival of Friends with Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah.
And Mark Henry, remember with the salmon jacket, he was going to retire.
Oh yeah, yep.
He had his heel turn there. We all love a good heel turn. Not from you though, Doug. We need you. We need you to be the face that runs the place.
I know. Yeah. No heel turns for me at this point. I think things are trending in a positive direction with the Patriots. So. No heel turns right now, especially on this regime. They seem to be doing things the right way.
I don't know about your boy Callahan, though. He could turn heel.
I know. Hopefully he doesn't push me through the barbershop window or anything like that.
Or hit you with a chair.
I know. Yeah, he might have been ready to after the Combine. We spent every waking hour with each other, so we're trying to get a break from each other at this point.
Jeez. I don't know if I could handle that. Doug, excellent job, man. Continue the great work. Appreciate you joining us tonight, man. And enjoy the road to WrestleMania. I'll be there in 47 days.
Oh, nice. You will not see me there, but I will be watching from home.
You got it. He's Doug Kyed, everyone. Doug, appreciate you, man. We'll catch up down the line.
Absolutely. Talk to you later, Joe.
You got it. He's Doug Kyed, everyone. Boston Herald did an excellent job on that article. That Christian Barmore stuff did not sound good. That did not sound good. And I care about the person's health before anything else. But, man, that would be huge blow. All right, we got the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bengals have officially placed the franchise tag on T. Higgins. The Bucks just announced they will not place the franchise tag on Godwin. So no Chris Godwin franchise tag. We won't, though. We have In or Out coming up next. That should be fun. Thanks to Doug Kyed joining us here from the Boston Herald. That Christian Barmore stuff really is, oof. And not to mention we'll get into the Gerard Mayo. I'm the one stirring the pot that they went rogue and won. And now they're stuck with the fourth pick. That's me. But it was reported. It leaked out to the coaches, and they were pissed. Oh, we got Maddie from Card Vault on the line. What's up, Maddie?
Hello, Joseph. How's your evening going?
It says Matt in Providence, so I didn't know who it was.
Okay, here we go.
Did our intern Trent give you a little bit of a problem getting on tonight?
No, not at all. Trent was a fine young gentleman. He slid me right to the top of the queue. He said, man, now that's a man who's definitely from Providence. You've lived there forever, huh? He said that. He said that. Oh, man.
What do you got? Did you like the John Cena heel turn?
That's exactly what I was calling about. So I literally just left the store, threw on the radio, heard you guys were chopping it up about Elimination Chamber. And let me say this, very, very fun turn of events. I will say, though, the people that are stacking it up with the Hogan 96 Bash at the Beach turn, let's calm down here, folks. Let's calm down a little bit.
The Hogan one is still bigger. This one, though, this was a shocker.
Oh, this was great. It was great. I actually, so we had the Causeway show, obviously, throughout the day on Saturday. I didn't get home until much later, and then I rewatched it. I just kind of, I had heard like a couple potential spoilers, so I threw it on after. Man, I'll tell you what, the look he gave The Rock, and then all the signs leading up to it from like all those little Easter eggs of like the posters and like all the signage seen on the Elimination Chamber. I gotta say, I tip my hat to the WWE writers for this one. That was a good one.
It was a real good one. Hey, Maddie, you're a good person to ask about this. Whenever I'm at the Card Vault Studios, adjacent to TD Garden, with multiple locations at Foxwoods and also at Patriot Place, the Pat McAfee show is on when I am there. What are your thoughts on Pat McAfee?
My thoughts on
the
Pat McAfee in general,
the show.
The show? Yeah, I don't mind. I think it's listen. I think there's some segments where it's fun. I think they do a good job of kind of keeping it, keeping some nice roundtable discussion. It's not. I'm not like a McAfee fanboy, but I like Pat. I think he does a really good job. I think he's fun on the WWE too. I have nothing against it.
Okay.
Why is that?
Oh, no,
was that a hot button topic earlier?
It seems to be a hot button topic. A host at our station said that if you listen, you're an idiot. And Skaz, our producer who you met, he feels the same way.
Really?
Yeah. I don't.
I don't hate it. It's not my listen. It's no Matty V and Murray behind the mic on a Fanatic Live or Whatnot stream. Yeah, right. I mean that's pure electricity in a bottle, my friend. But no, I don't hate it. Listen, anytime you have a former professional athlete who can provide some insight and some context, kind of behind the curtain, that some other talking heads may not, and more importantly, a more recent professional athlete, because that's not that far removed from the league, who can provide some further context and color on some of the more modern inner workings of the league and some things that happen behind the scenes. I think that's cool. I think that's access to information that fans don't always have, and it provides a unique perspective. And I will say, he gives some cool he gives some some polished takes. Now, is everything that they talk about, there's a little bit of kind of the frat boy kind of kind of banter on there. It's not for everybody. I get that, but no, I think it's all right.
All right,
I like it.
Well, Maddie, you shouldn't read the chat that we have going on right now, because they're all. There's a lot of Matt not in Providence in there. I see the brokerage babe, Matt not in Providence.
Oh my God! The joke now it's sticking in the YouTube chat. Now this is unbelievable. Look what you've done, Joseph. Look what you've done.
Well, listen, I think we've put you. Well, I'm not. Well, you put yourself on the map, but I feel like to our listeners here at 98.5 The Sports Hub, they love Matty V. I know you as Matty V. Now you got to identify yourself as Matt from Providence, and
I'll be Matt. I'll be Matty V. I'll be Matt from Providence, Matty V from Providence, wherever the listeners want. I'm here. I'm repping the 401. Every single phone call or when I'm in studio, baby.
You know what? That should be like your logo, like MV with like a 401 in it. You know what I mean?
We can make that happen.
Some sort of. Oh, you know a guy, right? So maybe you can get some 401.
I know
stuff.
a guy. Oh yeah.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm going to be at the Card Vault Studios tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, streaming live on Whatnot. So I look forward to being there tomorrow, Matty.
That's going to be a great time. Hope all the listeners come enjoy some more fantastic banter with us tomorrow, in addition to the rest of your show tonight.
You got it. He's Matt. Appreciate you, Matty. Talk soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. We got In or Out coming up next, guys. Let's do it. In or Out next here on the Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly?
a Beasley Media Group station.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
T. Higgins, franchise from the Bengals. Devontae Adams available for a trade. Eagles release Darius Slay. Jimmy Johnson announced his retirement. Red Sox tie 6-6 today. A tie. True story. Headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, a 98% customer satisfaction rating and thousands of 5-star reviews. The choice is clear. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. In or out next.
Boston plays here.
Pritchard, half court. It's in the air. He got it. He did it again.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is
out. And this is the portion of the show where we talk about things that you probably won't hear elsewhere. And it's something I love about the show, Skaz, is that we talk about things some other people may not.
Yes, Joe, a Monday night edition of In or Out. I believe we will have 2 In or Outs this week.
Yes, Monday and Friday. Yeah. A bookend week.
Yeah, no complaints from me on that.
I love that.
Big fan myself.
Ooh, a Friday night show? Because, you know, when I watched the Eras Tour, there was a few times where I'm like, is she turning bad? You know, like every once in a while, they're dancing on that chair. I was like, huh? Doesn't get some respect because some other entertainers may have the look and might be like the sex symbol. I'm just going to flat out say it.
So you're saying Taylor Swift and Jason Tatum may have some similar feelings?
Yes. To put it into sports, you know how people say, can you explain this to me in sports terms? Yes. I am waiting for the Taylor Swift heel turn. Like, you know the song, Are You Ready for it? Boom, boom, boom. Psh.
Well, what does a Taylor Swift heel turn look like, Joe?
Like Sandy.
Was she going to do heavy metal or something?
Did you ever watch Grease?
No.
What?
No, Joe. A musical where...
You've never seen the movie Grease?
John Travolta's dating a younger woman? No, it's never...
What are you talking about? It's Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, no.
Wait, Skaz, wait a second.
Never seen Grease, never will see Grease.
You've never... No! Trent, have you ever seen Grease?
No. He said, it's a movie, I know that.
Did you know I sang Beauty School Dropout?
I do now.
Yep.
Was it a duet, Joe?
It was in 8th grade. And they wanted someone to sing Beauty School Dropout, and, well, I put my altar boy Alb on. And I sang Beauty School Dropout, no graduation day for you. Missed your midterms and flunked shampoo. Wait a second. You've never... I can't get over this right now.
I have no interest in seeing Grease, Joe.
No, I think you should see Grease. Trent's like, yeah, no. Wait a second. You have no interest... I can't believe this. This has derailed everything.
And Joe, some people in the chat also never seen Grease.
How the hell do you guys grow up? How did you not see Grease? Grease Lightning? Tell me more. Does he have a car?
I was born 25 years after this movie came out, Joe.
Summer Lovin' had me a blast?
Yeah, I'm aware of the movie. I know what happens, but yeah, no interest.
I feel like we need a viewing party.
Grease only a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Doesn't matter. It was phenomenal. I watched Grease at the Kowloon Drive-In. Not the first time, but, you know. I cannot believe you've never... Okay, well, my point was... John Travolta, his name was Danny, and he met this girl on a summer vacation. And they, said goodbye, and he talked about her like crazy. And she ended up moving and going to his school. But he was Danny Zuko, who is like the head of the T-Birds with leather jackets, and they put cigarettes in their sleeves. And they were like, he's like, I'm too cool for school. But Sandy D.
Is that how he talks?
Yes, actually, yeah. And then Sandy D, she was like very prude. Let's just keep it looking. So then when she was hopelessly devoted, and then he, missed her. And then, what happened was she got in her leather gear and her hair crazy and dressed all sexy. And she was like, hi, stud. And that's my Taylor Swift heel turn.
I feel like I've seen the movie, Joe. I feel like I don't need to watch it now. I've seen it.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe this has happened tonight. Why couldn't it be Grease Lightning? You don't know that either? Grease Lightning?
I mean,
whoa, Grease Lightning.
I've heard it.
You don't know the hand jive?
I can confidently say I don't know the hand jive.
You never know?
No.
Wow. Oh, my God. I can't believe this. I can't believe your school never showed you this.
Yes, Rainham Public School is a good school district, so no, they did not.
This is the stuff we did at Catholic
they
school.
They did not show us Grease.
Again, I'm going to go back to my Catholic school roots.
A lot of us Stand and Deliver, Joe. We watched that quite a few times.
Okay, fine. Next, please. Anyways, my heel turn is Sandy.
Out on Sandy D, I guess, Joe, would be my takeaway. Joe, Travis Hunter, popular name in New England over the last couple weeks, with Travis Hunter making waves, saying that him playing both ways is more difficult than Shohei Ohtani doing it. Joe Murray, do you agree or disagree? Or are you in or out, I should say?
I'm out. I think football, when you grow up, you play both ways, right? You play both sides of the ball. Pitching and hitting are two different things. And I think baseball is so much more mental than football. So I think it's extreme. I'm out. I think it's way harder to play pitch and hit than it is to play both ways in football. Out on that one.
I'm with you as well. Ohtani's doing it, multiple times a week as well, all that. He's, playing the field, batting, pitching, yeah.
Did you know in the movie Grease?
Oh, boy.
Danny Zuko wanted to impress Sandy because Sandy was dating a jock. And so he tried to play sports, but then beat up the things I hate about you. She played soccer, but then he did the I love you, baby. All right, never mind.
All right, Joe. Speaking of Grease, we'll head to the movies for this one. Joe, Amanda Seyfried says a Jennifer's Body sequel is in the works. Joe Murray, are you in or out on a sequel to Jennifer's Body?
In. Is Megan Fox in it?
I believe it is reported that she will return.
That's all I need to know. Megan Fox. Woo.
Joe, sticking with the movies, did you happen to catch the trailer for the new Shrek movie coming out?
I did, yes, and I saw Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live this week again.
Yes, Mike Myers been on Saturday Night Live twice in the last couple weeks.
He portrayed Elon Musk, which we're not doing that.
No, but
we're not doing. But that's who he portrayed.
I'd say it was fairly accurate. But Joe, are you in or out on the Shrek redesign? It says Shrek fans up in arms on Twitter over the weekend. Very upset that he looks different than he did from a cartoon 20 years ago. So, Joe Murray, are you in or out on the Shrek redesign?
Why is everyone so confused that with technology things can look different?
Yeah, this is something that you couldn't pay me to care about. This is a kid's movie. You're getting upset about the Sonic one. I kind of understood because he looked nothing like Sonic the Hedgehog, but this one he's Shrek. It's 20 years later. It's this is just something that I couldn't possibly get upset about.
Out.
Yeah.
But when Grease 2 came out,
oh boy,
I was not happy with the new characters, I have to admit. But you know who the woman was in that one? Michelle Pfeiffer, who I think did Scarface first and then that.
I believe she
and then
was.
she was Catwoman.
Poison Ivy, I think.
And then no, she was Catwoman.
Ah,
Poison Ivy was. Clueless Girl.
Someone will tell us.
Clueless Girl? No. Poison Ivy, Batman. It was. Well, yeah, right. Why? Somebody will tell me. It wasn't. My God, who was the actress? Why am I losing my mind right now? Was it Uma Thurman?
I'm being told that Uma Thurman did play it in Batman and Robin. All right, Joe. We'll go ahead to college football for this one. Matt Rule, former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, now is the head coach of Nebraska, I believe. Mm-hmm. He caught his players doing TikToks inside the facility and then decided that he was going to make the freshmen dance between wall sits and call it a TikTok workout. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Matt Rule using TikTok as a form of punishment?
In.
The Last Waltz.
Yeah.
I watch that every Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Well, let's find out if Brian Barrett has, from The Ringer, joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Brian, have you ever seen Grease?
I've seen Grease. I have not seen La La Land, though.
Okay. I just couldn't believe Skaz has said he never saw the movie Grease. Where it came up was I said that I can't wait for Taylor Swift's heel turn. And he goes, well, what does that entail? And I tried to bring up when Sandy wore the leather.
Yeah, please, Joe, land the plane.
You know?
From Taylor Swift to Grease.
Yeah, but yes, because, she's Sandy D right now. But when she becomes, Sandy D, what's up, stud? That's where I feel like the heel turn is. Anyways, I'm glad to know that, Brian. Are you anticipating something at 9 o'clock tonight?
I am. Celtic City, baby. I was at the screening a week ago Friday, so I've seen one episode so far. It's really good. I'm excited for this one, man, the early days.
So is this a Bill Simmons Ringer documentary?
Yeah, he's the EP on it.
And you saw so it goes back in history, or is it just about last year?
No, it's 9 parts, so it goes all the way back to the Cousy Russell era. At the screening, they showed the 80s. So technically, I think it was episode 5 they showed us at the screening, which was really good. Obviously, that's a real sweet spot for Celtics fans, right? Like the 1980s. So that was a lot of fun. It was cool, too. I was interested to see, I don't want to obviously give too much away, but there's been a lot of stuff done, obviously, over the years with the Celtics. There was that 30 for 30 on the Celtics-Lakers rivalry, and, of course, there was that Bird Magic documentary. I believe that was HBO. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So there'd been a lot done about that era, but there was a lot of new wrinkles from the 1980s in this one. I thought it was really cool. And this isn't giving anything away, but you'd be surprised. Like the guys that they interviewed from the Lakers in those episodes are actually really good, like really funny.
Oh, I'm excited for that. There's a lot on television that I can't wait to watch when I get home later. I wanted to bring up something on the Celtics quickly. I kind of went at Missoula after the Cavs loss. I just thought that once the Cavs went to zone, the offense really wasn't getting going. I kind of blame him for that, but really what I blame him for was, Hauser playing 38 minutes. I understand that, they're down a couple of guys, but there was just no adjustments, and the adjustment he made was Pritchard, which was worse. He took a little bit of accountability after the game, but I saw progression in the Denver win on the pick and roll, and Al Horford was the star there. But what were your thoughts on that and just, the adjustments from the Cavs loss to the Denver win?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First, on Hauser, I don't know if they're just trying to get his cardio up or something because he's been in and out of the lineup so often this season. Because you go back to that Toronto game, he played almost 40 minutes. I thought it was weird. I've heard some conspiracy theories that, hey, they didn't want to show Torrey Craig, right? Because they don't want him to see him in the playoffs, like the Cavs would be unprepared. But the thing that stunned me about that game, first of all, they scored, they being Mitchell and Garland, 12 and 11 points on Hauser as the primary defender, and they went at him late in the game. I don't understand why he was on the court late in that game, especially considering he'd already piled up so many minutes and you knew what they were going to do. The other thing that I really disliked about that game, and look, the players were on the court, they could do better as well. They blew the 87-70 lead, but you look at it, third quarter, Jalen picks up his 4th foul. He sits Jalen, and this is at the 7:08 mark. He sits Jalen for the remainder of the third quarter. In those minutes, they're outscored 22-11. Start of the fourth quarter is when Tatum gets his rest. So Tatum is out of the game to begin the fourth quarter, and naturally the Cavaliers win those minutes. So by the time Jalen and Tatum actually play again together, it's like 10 minutes of real game time. And the thing that, if you look at the totality of the minutes, Jalen played 34 minutes in that game. And you have Derek White's over 40, Tatum's around 40, Sam Hauser's at 38. So what the Celtics did, or in particular what Joe Missoula did, is what the opposite of Brad Stevens used to do. Brad Stevens, like, his philosophy was essentially like, sometimes when you sit guys, you create your own foul trouble. So you know how many fouls Jalen finished the game with? 4. And he played the majority of the fourth quarter. And I was happy to see on Sunday, that game against Denver, Jason Tatum picks up his 4th foul. Guess what they do? They keep him in the game in the third quarter. So I don't know why he pulled Jalen in that particular situation. It was so aggravating to me that they act, because the whole game plan, right? Like, that wasn't a Derek White game, right? Like, he hit some shots, he had 16 points. But that was a game where, and I think sometimes as great as the Celtics are at doing this, they overdo it, as where they're hunting the mismatches. So Tatum's going at Allen, Tatum's going at Mobley, Tatum's going at Garland, Jalen mainly going at Garland, right? Like, they're seeking out those mismatches. So that's clearly the game plan. And then you're without Jalen for so long in that game. I don't understand why he sat him for that long. And hopefully the fact that Tatum did not sit as long in the game on Sunday, that was maybe a lesson that Joe learned. Because I'm sure if he asked Brad about it, Brad would have been like, yeah, I would never sit a guy that long with foul trouble. You put him in foul trouble by doing that.
Talking to Brian Barrett, he's from The Ringer. Brian, I was mentioning how last year post All-Star game, Jaylen Brown was unbelievable. He was great. I know through 5 games he's been one of the better players when healthy. Can you just get into some of the numbers regarding Jaylen Brown and him in the post All-Star break?
Yeah, you look at it post All-Star break, so 5 games, 25.4 points per game. Pre All-Star break, 22.9. So he's up basically 2.5, 3 points per game. And then you look at the field goal percentage, it's at 50.5%. That was 45.9% pre All-Star break. And then the 2-point shooting, which is the one that always stunned me this year, it's up to 57.1% post All-Star break, 52.9% pre, which is really bad. And that's the key for Jalen, because even if you look at his 3-point shooting, which is post All-Star break, it's over 35%. And the reason it's not higher is just he had one bad game against Toronto. If you look at the game log, all the other games he shot the 3-ball well, even though the 3-ball, it's not like he's taking a ton of those attempts. But the 2-point shooting, to me, you go back to the playoffs, he was at 60% last year. And this season, until post All-Star break, he's south of 43%. And this is where Jalen's been so dominant throughout his NBA career. It's not just like getting to the rim, it's his mid-range game. So it seems like that is back on track, which my 2 biggest questions post All-Star break for this team is, hey, are we going to see the same Jalen we saw post All-Star break last year and into the postseason? And then secondarily, and this is before, of course, we even knew about the mallet finger situation, is what is Drew going to look like? And to Drew's credit, like his first 2 games prior to the Pistons game, the Philly game and the Knicks game, I thought Drew looked rejuvenated. I thought Drew looked awesome in those games. And now, unfortunately, he's dealing with this mallet finger situation. Less concerned about Porzingis because it seems like this time it's an illness. But I think they really could have used Drew in that game. Not that anybody for the Celtics does a good job on Donovan Mitchell. He averages the most points against the Celtics, more than Michael Jordan in the regular season. So they don't do a great job on him, period. But that was certainly a game where, the 38 minutes that Hauser played, Drew could have used some of those.
Yes, and I don't know what's ahead for Porzingis. When I do look ahead, though, I think about if those guys aren't available in the playoffs. So when people are like, oh yeah, if they're there, it's an easy win. It's no guarantee that they will be there. I do want to mix in just some Red Sox stuff. Garrett Crochet open about an extension. Have you been watching any of this spring training stuff? Sometimes I don't know where to find it, to be honest with you. But your thoughts on just spring training, and I think Devers is going to play the field this week, and the young players. I saw Mayer the other day. I thought he looked great. What are your overall thoughts on what you've seen from the Red Sox so far in spring training?
Yeah, so first, one of my biggest takeaways was Buehler. Buehler just looked awesome in the game that he pitched the other day, and this is a guy, you look at his numbers last year, they stink. But if you look at the playoffs, he found it again. This is a guy that was, of course, coming back from Tommy John. So you almost take out the entirety of last season because he wasn't himself yet. Look at his final start against the Mets and look at his start against the Yankees where he's just striking out guys left and right, and secondary stuff, he had the field back. So I thought that was a real positive. He looked really good. Crochet, obviously his first outing, he looked unbelievable, throwing 97, throwing 98. He's got all this stuff. He's one of the nastiest pitchers in the game. I mean, there was a reason pre-All-Star break. He's number 1 in WAR among starters, and he's number 1 in strikeout rate, and he still finished the season with the best whiff rate in all of Major League Baseball, meaning he gets more swings and misses than anybody else in the sport from a starter's perspective. The extension, I think, is just bizarre because you're in this weird position because, Joe, he never pitched in the minor leagues, right? He came in, he was drafted in 2020, so that was the year, remember, they had 1 million playoff teams that year. The Red Sox, not one of them, but they were one of the only teams that didn't make it. Chicago made it, and they were using him out of the bullpen. So, his service time, he's so close to being a free agent. Basically, is this year, which we know they already agreed on a deal, and then they have the following year where he's arbitration eligible as well. So if you're Crochet, like the quote that he had at the beginning of the spring training, I thought was the more interesting one, where he said, let's see where my value is going to be at. Because if you're him, like technically you could become a free agent at 27, but ordinarily when we see these pitchers, young pitchers get extensions, like we think about Brian Bayo, even a guy like Spencer Strider, who when he was healthy prior to the injury, he's one of the best pitchers in the sport. That guy was so far away from free agency. Essentially, Crochet, it's like, what if you get to the All-Star break, right, and you're an All-Star in the American League, and you're one of the favorites. Right now, if you go to FanDuel, he's number 2 in terms of he's got the second shortest odds to win the Cy Young. Like, I'm not in a rush to sign one. So, I mean, if like you could almost work a bridge extension if you're him, where you do it like 3 to 4 years, and then you get back into the market again. I just feel like it's just a weird situation, because I don't know who you compare yourself to. You don't compare yourself to the young guys. But then, like, the Snells of the world, those guys are over 30, the Corbin Burns of the world, but they did get into a place where they got to free agency. If you're a Crochet, do you risk waiting it out when you've already had Tommy John in the past? Do you want some sense of security? So maybe it's a shorter-term deal. I just think it's a tough on both the player and the organization, because he's got 1 year of real success, and he was in an innings limit situation last year. So if you're the Red Sox, like, how many years do you want to give him? I just think it's a strange situation. I can't wait to see, like, I want them to get it done, because I'm going to be nervous if we get to the All-Star break and he doesn't have something signed.
It's going to be very interesting what happens. I'm still awaiting the Christian Campbell stuff. I got a good look at Mayer, as I mentioned. The Roman Anthony stuff. I know some people might not be impressed or wonder if he can be a good outfielder. It was a pretty big topic of discussion here on the station throughout the day today. What are your thoughts on his outfielding ability?
Yeah, I think he's going to be totally fine. I mean, he's going to be a corner outfielder, and he's going to hit for power. He's going to hit for average. I can't wait to see him play, and probably sooner rather than later when you think about it. The guy that has been struggling, and Alex Cora talked about it today, is Christian Campbell, where Campbell's just been swinging at too many pitches. Like, it's still going to be really interesting to see what happens there, because if he doesn't make the team out of camp, are you just playing Bregman at second? Like, I really don't want to go, and I know Grissom worked hard in the offseason to put on weight and whatnot, but his contact numbers have never been good. He's never hit the ball hard in his entire career going back to his minor league days. I just don't – if you're going to have this whole issue with Rafael Devers, it's one thing to have it for Christian Campbell, who's one of the top 3 prospects in your organization. It's a totally different conversation having about a guy like Vaughn Grissom. So if that's the case, do you just start Alex Bregman at second to begin the year and have Rafael Devers at third to start the season? That's what I would do if you're not starting Campbell right away. And the other component to that is, okay, does that actually open up a spot for Roman Anthony to win one of the outfield jobs out of camp? Because is it going to be Rafaela that you schedule in to play every day to start the season? Do they just want Roman Anthony to get more at-bats too at the AAA level before bringing those guys up? But the fact that the organization I don't want to say went all in, but they made the big-time trade where you gave up your last 2 first-round picks, and we're talking about Montgomery and Teal. The fact that you went out and you paid Bregman $40 million per year, like, you're trying to compete right now. So if Roman Anthony is a better option to start the season in the outfield than Rafaela is, so I think Rafaela is really valuable as like a super utility guy, but he's never going to hit anything consistently because he swung at more pitches out of the strike zone from a percentage standpoint than anybody in the sport last year. Then give Roman Anthony that job if he deserves it coming out of camp. So, and I know this is like a good problem to have, but for the first time in a while, like, you feel like the Red Sox have real questions for a good reason, because they have so much talent right now in the pipeline and in the organization, and they're going to have some decisions to make. And that's why I think at the beginning of spring training, things got uncomfortable with Raffy, because they were coming to the conclusion, like, hey, if Campbell does really win this job, we got to figure out the Rafael Devers situation sooner rather than later.
It's going to be very, very, very interesting. By the way, I think we might be doing a broadcast from Sylvan Street. We're working on a date, but it could be Red Sox opening day. So,
that'd be fun. Eat, drink, and chill.
That's right. So keep your calendar open. Enjoy tonight. I know you've already seen it, but, it'll be cool to see it again. The big Celtics documentary comes out tonight. Should be a good one. Of course, made from The Ringer and Bill Simmons. And it all begins at 9 o'clock tonight on HBO. Brian, appreciate your time, bud.
All right, Joe. Thanks for having me, man.
You got it. He's Brian Barrett, everybody of The Ringer. Check it out. All right. Well, what do we do now? We got the musings coming up in just a little bit. Trent is going to make his radio debut in the 9 o'clock hour, our intern. He came up with some really good statistics that I think is worth looking at when it comes to who the Patriots should draft and the number 4 overall pick. You got something for me?
I was going to say, Joe, do you know what you have on the rundown for 8:35?
What do I have on the rundown for 8:35? Debo Samuel. You want to talk about that next?
It doesn't matter to me, Joe.
No, but that's what we have on the rundown.
That's on the rundown.
Yeah.
5th round pick.
What do you want to do?
Let's talk some Grease, Joe.
You know, I'm telling you, man. You should pull up. There was an album.
Joe, is the Blues Brothers considered a musical?
No.
Why not?
I don't consider it a musical.
They're doing a lot of singing.
Yeah. I don't consider it. Is it a musical? I don't know.
I have no idea. But I'm just going to say that's the best musical I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'll have to think about what my... Grease. I got chills, they're multiplying.
So when they rolled the TV into the classroom, it was Grease they were putting on?
Yeah. Well, it was that, Don Quixote. When we were kids, it was Land Before Time.
Oh, classic.
What else? So again, I went to Catholic school. I don't know if I've said that enough while I've been on the air here. But how about the 10 Commandments? You know how long that took to watch?
I don't even know what that is, Joe.
Are you kidding me?
No idea.
Oh my God! Is it me? Did I grow up screwed up?
I think the majority of people have probably seen Grease. I would say
the majority of people have probably seen 10 Commandments more than Grease.
Yeah, that one didn't come across my radar.
Moses parted the Red Sea? No,
I've heard the stories.
Pontius Pilate? It was me. I know. You know what? It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. We'll get the headlines next here on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by
Skaz is here. Trent is here. I didn't realize my Catholic school roots would, again, derail the chat. But I don't know what's worse, not seeing The Wizard of Oz or Grease. This is blowing my mind. Like, I don't even know what I could get away. Like, what could I even gotten away from not seeing Wizard of Oz?
Joe, what's the biggest movie you think you haven't seen yet? Like Titanic, you've seen, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
All the Godfathers.
Every one of them.
Like, I'm trying to think of, like, big blockbusters. Interstellar.
Have you seen Star Wars?
I have seen Star Wars, yes.
What about Avatar?
I have not seen Avatar, no.
Okay.
I know that would disappoint someone that used to be a regular here, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Have you seen Harry Potter?
I have seen Harry Potter, yes.
What about Lord of the Rings?
I've seen enough of them, I feel like. I get what's going on.
Okay. Have you seen, like, Aladdin?
Like the Robin Williams Aladdin?
No. The cartoon, the original.
Yeah, that's Robin Williams.
Oh, it is? Okay,
the
I'm
Genie,
sorry.
I believe. I haven't seen the Will Smith Aladdins, but I've seen the Robin Williams one.
Well, like Finding Nemo.
Yep, seen it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm like box office all time. Jeez. I think I've almost seen everything. The Wizard of Oz, though, that's one that I can't really. Like, how did you avoid it?
I believe it was shown to me, and then I was afraid of the flying monkeys, and I think I dipped out shortly after that.
So, I've brought this up before, but a wicked stoner part in my lifetime was Dark Side of Oz. You would put the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album on, and on the third lion roar, you'd hit play, and then you would watch the movie on mute, but you would listen to Dark Side of the Moon, and a lot of the lyrics would match up with the movie. And supposedly, I'm not sure if it was David Gilmour or one of them loved Judy Garland. And that's how that happened. Grease, though? Have you ever seen Saturday Night Fever?
No.
Scarface?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to go back in time a little bit more. Have you seen, like, Casablanca?
I know what it is. I maybe, but no.
What about It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes.
Okay.
Drew Barrymore's grandfather, I believe, or great-grandfather.
Okay.
Mr. Potter.
Well, here's one. Brian's in Norwood. Hey, Brian.
What's up, Joe?
Yo. What's up?
I'm just sorry, Mr. Murray. I get the Murray brothers mixed up. But as a principal, as a rule of thumb, I'm sorry. I'm stuttering over
What are you
myself.
doing? What are you doing? What are you distracted by? What's going on?
Calling you the wrong name by the Murray brothers.
The wrong Murray. Okay. That's happened a lot of times in my life.
No, I've talked to you many a time. I've as a rule of thumb, I never was into Top Gun when it came out. Didn't want to watch it. Still haven't watched it. Don't want any part of it. And I got to admit, like even now, I'm kind of intrigued with all the cool highlights of like these new Top Gun scenes coming out. But yeah.
What are you just leaving Lewis's or something?
No, I don't need to see the original Top Gun.
No, I know. Where are you coming from, though? Where are you coming from?
No, I'm a teacher and a coach, and I'm headed home.
Oh, you coached? Okay, I
you.
just want to make sure you weren't at like Napper Tandy's or something like that.
Oh, I was going to get an egg salad Lewis's on the way home.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I had to talk to you first.
Well, listen, I would get a Lewis burger. That's what I would get. But
nobody puts egg salad on something any better than Lewis's, right?
Well, that's right. You got to hear the song, yeah, hanging with my boys. Nothing like guys' shirts off at the beach playing volleyball. Got the musings coming up next here in the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
HD Boston, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, T. Higgins officially franchise tagged by the Bengals today. The Eagles released Darius Slay. And the Red Sox, well, they had a spring training game that was tied at 6 and ended that way. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Next update, 30 minutes.
Some people play the game.
Hey, Jaylen Brown. Blocked by Horford.
Some talk about
Let's welcome to the Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics show with Murray and Gasper. Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub.
In the world unrelated to sports, so sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
I know that the guys want to talk about this one, so let's do it. I'll just read the headline first. German soccer match gets called off after a referee got his nuts on YouTube. Catch up before I read to see what their initial reaction is. A low-tier German football clash between FC Taxi and Rot-Weiss Mulheim, whatever, ended in a painful circumstances with referee Stefan Kohler abandoning the match before he had even blown his whistle. As he checked over the players before the game, a child of one of the players ran up to him and bit him in the testicle. Buckled over and presumably in quite a lot of pain, he had no choice but to call off the game. The two clubs will now have their match rescheduled for later in the season. In his refereeing report, Carler said, "While I was checking the FC Taxi player's ID, a small child was doing warm-up exercises along the players. He came closer and closer to me. Then suddenly, to my complete surprise, gave me a sharp bite in my testicle."
We allowed to say that, Joe?
Yeah, it's after 9 o'clock. Okay. So we have a victim, right? Do we have a crime here? Do we have a crime and a victim?
Kind of. And referees got to be more aware, though, no?
Okay.
Also, do you think this guy ever referees a soccer game again?
He'll have PTSD. I don't have kids. The best part about kids for me is I get to play with them, give them a bunch of sugar, and then give them back. But when I'm around children, I'm fully aware of what they can do to me. My shins, oh, have I been kicked? Have I taken a few shots, low blows? Absolutely in my day. So I would just say first, when you're around young children, you need to know your whereabouts.
Head on a swivel.
I'm being serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not joking about this. So, I mean, one of the soccer players has his kid on the sideline. Is he a biter?
I'd like to get Jim Murray's take on this one. I know he's had issues with children around sporting events in the past.
Yeah.
Luckily, we never had anything reach this level.
Well, according to Jordy, some kids will kick your shins. Others will bite you in the back of the knee. Every so often, you'll come across an absolute demon spawn who will bite you right in the nuts. You have to treat kids the same way you would if you were waking up to a pit bull or walking up to a pit bull. You want to hope that they are calm, well-behaved, but you need to remain cautious because there's always a chance they're out of their minds. As a side note, I need to know what these kids were doing on the field. I know all the top-tier leagues around the world usually have a bunch of little kids walking onto the field with their players before starting announcements, but I'm pretty sure this was like an 8th-tier league in Germany. Something tells me these guys just have to bring their kids to the game because the teams don't provide any sort of child. Sounds like the Patriots and the Revs. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the Patriots report card, right? Even though it increased this year. Oh boy. Does the child and the referee have a history? Does the child's parent and the referee have a history?
Saying a hit was put out, Joe?
Have you ever heard of anyone getting bit in the testicle?
I can say no.
I can't either. Brokerage babe, in our chat, have you ever heard of this before?
Joe, I'm still curious about this dart story you were teasing earlier.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that reminder. I've been getting emails all night long. I just haven't been able to get into that email yet. Okay. Wait a second. Back to the testicles. One person wrote. Then he wrote wrong movie. Okay. I don't have the dart fart story. Wow. Just what's going on here? Is the kid going to get in trouble? So now, Skaz, you get me thinking. Could you tell your kid to bite something and get away with it?
I'm going to say no.
Well, did this kid get away with it?
I don't know if he was instructed, though, Joe. You're putting a hit out on it. You're right, putting a hit out there.
What do you think of this?
My thoughts is this guy will not be refereeing lower tier soccer ever again. And that's got to be one of the more unique reschedulings in sports history. Imagine attending that game. You're getting to your seat right before kickoff, and they're like, sorry, guys, actually, we're going to have to reschedule this one.
I'm just going to Google bite.
You want to Google that on the work computer?
I am.
I don't know if the firewall lets you do that.
Bit in testicle. Here we go. Okay, AI says a bite to the testicle is rare but serious.
Thank you, AI. How could we ever have come to that conclusion?
It could cause infections, bleeding, and other damage. You need to seek medical care if you experience pain or other symptoms. The symptoms are pain, swelling, bruising, nausea, vomiting, fever. The National Institute of Health says a human bite on the scrotum is not good.
Another groundbreaking discovery.
So now I'm going to click news and see what pops up. You ever do that? You just click news?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, German soccer player's child bites referee's crotch.
I just spent 3 minutes back here typing in darts poop or darts fart and trying to find news, and nothing was coming up.
Ooh, here's one. A python bites a Thai man's testicle while he uses the toilet and was thrashed to death. Should we click it?
Out on that.
But do you even want me to click on it?
Oh, if I'm going to be able to use the bathroom.
New York Post. Man bitten in the testicle by 12-foot snake in bathroom. He beat the snake up for doing it. I thought the snake took the man out.
No.
A 43-year-old woman carried out the attack in her victim's... she claimed she had been acting in self-defense. She was goes to see his sister, but she dates a hooligan, and he's trying to be good, right? But then he brings out his kid, and then he's got to defend him, and he fights, and then it's just...
Yeah, it's the guy from Sons of Anarchy, right?
Tell me he doesn't feel like he's not getting his attention today. First off, happy birthday to Julie Bowen, 55 years old today. Catherine Waterston's 45. Jessica Biel, 43. She's my age. I'm 42, but I'll be 43. Jessica Biel. Natalie Kelly is 41. Camila Cabello, 28 years old today. We still 19 in our hearts. That's still a thing, right?
Yeah, I think even the Celtics posted, like, can't believe he's only 19 or something earlier today.
Yep. Man, Jessica Biel. Did you ever see Chuck and Larry? The Adam Sandler movie with Kevin.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've seen that.
Did you ever see Jessica Biel in that?
Yes, yeah. Nick Swartzen, very funny in that movie.
Ooh, Buddy Velastro's 48. You know Chef Buddy? Any other birthdays today? Phil Swift here. You ever use that stuff? There's a hole in the boat.
Flex
Just
Seal?
spray the Flex Seal.
Feel like I'm watching the midday all over again.
Do you know that commercial? No, when the Sports Hub first started on NBC, that was all they could get. Now, because the ratings boom, now they get who's the guy that everybody hates there? He did the Valentine's Day there with Fred.
Steven Singer.
Steven Singer.
Yeah, everybody hates Steven Singer.
Yeah. Now they get him. They get, it used to be the Frank Thomas. Raphael. Was it Frank Thomas? He goes, and she'll love it too.
I think Flutie might have been in those.
Hall delivered. Where was that in 1999? Anything else?
Joe, is Laura Herring's birthday from General Hospital? No idea.
Luke and Laura?
Sure.
Okay.
It is also Jackie Joyner Kersey's birthday today.
That's a good one.
Gold medalist, 63 years old today.
Yep.
And I believe that's about it, Joe. Not a great birthday day.
Jeff says more musicals, less toilet. Viper ex-lover rips balls off with bear trap talk.
I agree with that. I can agree with that.
Well, you're the one who sent it to me.
It was Trent.
Trent?
Pass the blame to Trent.
Trent's going to make his radio debut coming up in a bit.
Yeah, when that segment was going on, I said, good luck following this up, Trent.
Oh, Northeast. Okay, yeah. I gotcha. All right, everybody. I'm enough of this. Snake, woman, or kid? And you want the snake, huh?
Yes, Joe, because then you don't have to worry about the you can react if it's a child or a woman. You're hoping it's a mistake in those cases, and you have to control yourself. Be an adult, be a human being. But if it's a snake, you can kind of, give the snake what's coming to it.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't feel comfortable with any of the three, Joe, but if I'm forced to pick, that's my answer.
What's the game there? Marry, kill. Well, on that note, let's go to break. I'm Joe Murray. Hey, we're going to bring in Trent. He's from Dean College, everybody. And he did some research on number 4 overall picks and tackles. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more.
with women today.
On the Sports Hub.
Z friend. He's an intern here on the night show. He goes to school at Dean College. He plays soccer. And he's in studio with us right now. His name is Trent Marlowe. He's from New Jersey, but he lives in Franklin, Massachusetts right now. Hi, Trent.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. Yeah, Dean College, Franklin, Massachusetts, but Jersey, born and raised.
All right, let's do a little. Let's pull this microphone up a little. There you go.
Okay, I got you.
Put that diamond right in your face.
Got you. Easy enough.
Philly
fans, it's a rough place to be, especially if you are a Commanders fan.
All right, Trent. Well, you're doing a lot with us. You're cutting up video. You're doing graphics, answering calls, doing podcast stuff. And we gave you an assignment, and you were to look up 4th overall picks that were tackles in the last 25 years.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, I come in, you give me this assignment. I mean, what, 20, 30 minutes before the show? And
and just so we know, the Patriots have the 4th overall pick.
Yep.
And today was measuring day.
Yeah.
Size matters. And the threshold is 33 inches. So, give us the tackles that have been selected 4th.
We've had a few tackles go 4th overall. Most of them were pretty good. The first one was a bust. You got Mike Williams, who went to the Bills in 2002. He was a bust. Yeah. By the end of his time in Buffalo, he was already playing D tackle, and he came in as an offensive tackle. So not good for him. But you move on. 2006, the Jets got DeBrickshaw Ferguson.
Ooh, the brick.
Yep.
Okay, and what was his arm length?
Oh, his arm length, 35.5 inches.
That's a tackle.
Yeah. So going off of that, Mike Williams, only 33.5. Whole 2-inch difference there.
Okay.
All right. We'll go on. We got Trent Williams to the Redskins.
Trent Williams, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
49ers.
He's been All-Pro, what? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons here, All-Pro.
Yeah.
First team All-Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had a 34.25-inch arm length.
So 34.25.
Yep.
And he's a left tackle.
Yeah. No, great left tackle.
That guy's a left tackle.
Yeah, he's
you want to build a
arguably
Super Bowl team that's been there twice? He's the guy.
Yeah, Trent Williams is arguably the best left tackle in the NFL during his span while he's been in the league. Moving on, we got 2012.
And felt comfortable about drafting the guy.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And again, one Pro Bowl. He started in 82 NFL games.
He was
not
fine.
a bust. Yeah.
He was fine. 4th overall, questionable, but fits the mold.
Exactly. Now, my personal favorite, obviously, Eagles fan, Lane Johnson.
Ooh.
So Lane Johnson comes in. Now, he's a right tackle.
What year was Lane Johnson selected?
He was 2013.
So Lane Johnson, 2013, 4th overall pick.
Yep.
What was his arm length?
Would you like to guess? Let's see if you could guess.
I'm going to say, believe it or not, I'm going to say he's like a 34.
35.25.
Whoa.
Yeah, so Lane Johnson's big boy. Two first-team All-Pros, 3 second-team All-Pros, possibly headed to the Hall of Fame. 2 Super Bowl wins, probably Hall of Famer.
He's probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. All right.
And he's pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah. So him and Trent Williams are,
I mean, I don't know, bookend best tackles in the league, maybe, arguably.
For their time in the league, 100%. Those are the 2 best tackles in the league.
Both drafted 4th overall.
With
over 33-inch threshold.
Yes, 100%. Wait,
okay.
Like an inch over minimum.
No, it's good.
Yeah. All right. Then we go, the biggest of them all. We got Andrew Thomas, 2020, to the Giants, 4th overall.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, so we're going
the Giants, and he just got extended, right?
Yeah, just got extended in 2023. It was a 5-year deal, around $117 million. So the Giants obviously think highly of him. He's had some injuries the last few years, so that's maybe held him off the field some time. But
a sure thing, 4th overall pick.
Yeah, and
got a second contract.
Yes, got a second contract, which is big. And his arm length, ready for this? 36 1/8 inch.
Big boy.
Massive.
I need a big boy. That's a big one.
Yeah. So Will Campbell, again, coming in at 32 5/8 arm inch.
So that's it. 4th overall picks that were tackles selected in the last 25 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what do you think the hit rate was?
Well, I mean, Mike Williams is the only one that I'd say didn't hit.
So what's that? 5? How many were there?
You had 6 total.
5 out of 6 hit. The one that didn't had the shortest arms of them all.
Yes, that's correct. And 2 are Hall of Fame players.
So it brings up this draft class, 4th pick. I mean, Kelvin Banks, he's from Texas. I don't think we've heard much from him.
No, I don't think they've been saying he's going to be a top 10 pick, though.
I think he's the best tackle, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Will Campbell was 32 and 5/8. Would you draft a player based off of this with an arm length at 32 and 5/8 with the 4th overall pick?
I would not unless the Pats are willing to move him to guard. That's the big issue here.
Why are you going to draft a guard 4th overall?
You don't, but you take a flyer.
Why? See, like in this draft, I get it. Like you're an Eagles fan. The Eagles don't draft for position need, right?
Well, not anymore because we drafted Lane Johnson.
They draft the best player available, right? Yeah. So in this case, don't you feel like the Patriots should draft the best, most impactful player available?
Yeah, maybe, but maybe that is Campbell, depending on who gets there. Like Quentin Nelson was very impactful for the Colts.
Yeah, but how is that working for the Colts?
Well, it's the Colts. They've made some other bad decisions.
But do you get what I'm saying?
No,
like, yeah. Hey, Quentin, how you doing, Quentin? What's up, man? But like Cole Strange went in the 1st round and was a guard. He was 30, whatever pick, mid-20s. Was it the right pick? No.
Yeah, probably not. No.
So the thought of moving guy to guard, out.
Yeah. One other point I want to come away with this here, Joe, is all these guys that I mentioned, left tackles. The only right tackle was Lane Johnson.
That's right. Everyone else was a left tackle. Yeah. And Will Campbell's a right tackle.
Granted, Mike Williams played right tackle in college, but the Bills tried to move him from right tackle to left tackle. Granted, he was the bust out of the class of all those guys. But still, you're going to say everyone was meant to be a left tackle besides Lane Johnson.
What do you think the Patriots should do with the 4th overall pick?
Trade down if they can get the value for it. I don't think that there's going to be a player there that they desperately need, unless Carter's there for some odd reason, but that won't happen.
I also am starting to think that maybe they should trade down. Like, not because if Abdul Carter's there, I want them to take him.
Well, yeah, he's the next Myles Garrett.
If Travis Hunter's there, I want them to take it.
But is skill position how you win football games?
Well, if you put him at cornerback with Christian Gonzalez, now you have 2 young corners to build around. Yeah, look what the Eagles just did. Didn't they just draft 2 young corners?
Yeah, but they were ready to win. They didn't draft him 4th overall.
But who says that if you draft Travis Hunter and plug and play free agents there, they can't be a better defense?
They could be, but I think offensive line is a more pressing issue.
Oh, it's pressing.
Yeah, it's bad.
But don't you think in this case that they're better off addressing the needs with money and free agency because they're actually somewhat, I don't want to call them sure things, but at least guys with tape in the NFL.
Bigger resume in the NFL is important, and I'll give you that. Now, I don't think that Will Campbell should be the 4th overall pick, especially, again, we just looked at all this arm length. If he's a bust, that's bad for the Patriots. Then you're just recycling. Then all of a sudden, you're the same place you are, a season from now, and you still need a left tackle.
I just don't think you can think of your next future left tackle with 32-inch arms.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look good for Will Campbell. And I mean, he's said he can be a versatile player and he can move around, but that's him trying to get drafted. If he can move around, that means he's probably not playing left tackle.
All right. You want to take some calls?
Why not?
All right, let's start with Dennis in Fuller Park. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
How you doing? Say hi to Trent.
Doing good. You probably met me at Polar Park during that trading card event. You sold me the Wes Welker card and just more memento to me. So just want to say thanks. Yes.
Wes Welker, future Hall of Famer.
I was just about to ask, Joe.
Future Hall of Famer.
I don't know. It depends who you asked, but he was just personal for me. But yeah, my take on Travis Hunter, and I'm wondering if I hate to cross sports, but first things first, the school he went to was Colorado, so does the elevation affect anything with his draft or the school he came in? Because he didn't go to the combine to, his workout there. And I'm relating it to, like, Trevor's story. I don't want us to be burned again, like, how stats are a little bit higher because of elevation at Coors Field or whatever Colorado is there, too. So just wanted your take on that, and I'll hang up. Thanks.
You know what? I don't think anyone's looked into it, but why don't we look up the game logs?
Game logs?
Game logs not at Colorado.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's important, but...
So they played at... Okay, let me just do this. They played at Colorado State this year. And in that game, he had 13... Okay, that's Colorado. Sorry. How about Florida? Is Florida a good area? Can we use Florida?
Yeah, easily. That's definitely not high and mountainous.
9 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown. How about Nebraska? Can we use?
Yeah,
is that
go
cool?
for it. Yeah, anything's lower than Colorado, I think, Joe.
10 receptions, 110 yards. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Kansas? You know what Kansas is?
Yeah, that's cornfields and nothing else, right?
8 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. The worst game that he had was at Arizona, but I think he got hurt in that game. 2 catches, 17 yards. He had a 3-catch, 26 at home. His numbers on the road were massive. 10 at Nebraska, 13 at Colorado State. I know it's Colorado. UCF, 9. Texas Tech, 9 and for 100. Kansas. I could look up the next year if you really want me to, but I think we made the argument there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that the elevation matters. I think Travis Hunter, he even showed he could do it at Jackson State. He'd probably still be an NFL player right now if he'd stayed at Jackson State.
Damn right. Bernie is in Braintree. Hey, Bernie.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
I mean, talking about the draft, I think realistically, I don't think we should go for the best player that we can get. In my opinion, I think we should build a squad of decent guys on the defensive and offensive tackles because we need to defend Drake May because we can't just let the other team's defense just get to the quarterback whenever they want.
Okay, but would you do it at 4?
4? I mean, I don't know. I think we should take who's good, who we get at number 4, and then focus on building more of a defensive core. But
okay,
I don't know.
So who is it at 4 then?
It's a hard decision for me. I don't know. I couldn't name a guy for you.
So you want them to select a guy and build from there, but you can't pick a guy.
No, I don't know. I just think as long as you can get somebody decent and then build a defensive core, what I really think is we need to build something around Drake May so that the defense can't just sack him. Because my friends have always been talking about, what if we just pick up T. Higgins? Well, I mean, if Drake May has enough time to stay in the pocket and throw to T. Higgins 10, 20 yards down the field.
All right, well, let me ask you this. You have Travis Hunter, and you have Will Campbell at 4. You have to pick one of the two. Who are you picking?
Everybody wants to say Travis Hunter, but I think I'd take Will Campbell.
Guys, they have actual models and grades. To me, Travis Hunter has a higher grade than Will Campbell.
Well, and there's a reason why the arms matter right now. There's a reason why we're talking about this.
Yes. Here's the deal. Mason Graham, under 33-inch threshold. Will Campbell, under 33-inch threshold. You know what that means? Out!
Yeah.
Out at 4. Out!
And look, the guys that have been successful. DeBrickshaw Ferguson, Andrew Thomas, Lane Johnson, Trent Williams, they're over 33. They're in 35, 34 range. Heck, Andrew Thomas is 36-inch arms. There's nowhere, it's not even it's half an inch. No, the guys that are successful that get drafted 4th overall and go be all pro tackles, they have 34, 35-inch length arms.
All right, in 2022, 7 offensive linemen had both an arm length of 33 inches or less and a wingspan of 79 inches or less. 2 were 6th-round picks. 4 were signed as undrafted free agents. One was drafted in the first 5 rounds. Taylor Linderbaum of Iowa. He was a center taken by the Ravens, 25th in the first round.
Yeah, I was about to say, Joe, you have to remember, we're talking about tackles here. You can have that wingspan, that smaller arm length, and play inside. That's a lot easier, but you tend not to draft a center or a guard, 4th overall. I understand if the Patriots take him, try to make him a tackle, it doesn't work, then they move him to guard because you still need a player there. But again, you don't want to draft a guard 4th overall.
All right, Trent. It's good work, buddy. Nice job.
Thanks for having me on, Joe.
Who do they take?
Who do they take?
It's a long way away, but today.
We got, what, 2 months?
Today, who do they take?
I think today, who they take is probably Will Campbell, who the Patriots take. Not who I would take.
After that whole exercise.
I'm not in the Patriots front office.
Okay, if they stay at 4, who do they select?
They should select Hunter if he's available. If he's there, they should take him.
I agree. If they stay at 4, it's Hunter.
Yeah, they should trade back.
Now, it does depend on what happens in front of them, obviously.
100%.
If Abdul Carter goes 1, Cam Ward goes 2, what do the Giants do?
I think the Giants like Shador. I think they want a quarterback.
So that would be 3.
Yep.
And then who's the best player available?
Hunter.
That's the exercise. Thank you for participating in the exercise.
Anytime, Joe.
All right, we got to hit the headline here. Trent Marlowe, everybody. What year are you at Dean?
Junior.
A junior at Dean, everybody. Sounds like a guy that has joined. It would sound like it wasn't your first time.
No, it's not. But first time here.
All right. Well, we'll get more of this as the combine's over and the draft continues. We'll take a quick break. We'll get the headlines here. We'll wrap up this show. On the other side, I'm Joe Murray.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, T. Higgins franchised. Bruins, Celtics off. Devontae Adams trade. Eagles released Darius Slate. Not much.
gotta go with Dre. I don't think I'm quick enough to do the Eminem part.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk, and I got something to say when that comes out.
I don't know if I could keep up.
They moved the lips, just a bunch of gibberish. Forgot about Dre. Was that 99 or 01? What year was the Chronic 2?
Forgot about Dre, Joe? 99.
9.5 plus 4 pennies?
The album was released in 01. Recorded in 99.
Great album. Da 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 da. Do, 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 do. All right. Well, what else happened tonight? Anything else happen?
You watched the Oscars last night, Joe?
Did not, but I watched Conan. Someone was a Conan fan. Who was?
I like Conan.
You like Conan?
Yeah, I thought he did. Fine.
Was there any jokes?
He made a Kendrick joke.
Oh, that's right.
He did make one of those.
It's the halfway part of the show.
Yes.
Drake was at wrestling on Saturday.
Was it? I'm guessing. Oh, yes, it was in Canada. I did see that.
What else? What else? Did you see anything good?
I thought it was fine. I think Conan's, a perfect fit for that night. Nothing crazy. I thought, Adrian Brody went on far too long was one of the big takeaways of the night. A guy that's been in some of the worst movies of all time, too. Is kind of odd for him to join the Two Timers Club. I thought the Gene Hackman thing was very short and no mention of Michelle Trachtenberg at all. I thought that was kind of...
I thought they did a memorial for Gene Hackman and her.
They did one for Gene Hackman. I did not see her name mentioned once. And the Gene Hackman thing was... They brought Morgan Freeman out, which was nice, but it was very short. And then they kept doing James Bond things, and I don't know why. There is no new James Bond. I know Amazon just bought the rights, but... It all just... That seemed kind of misplaced. And I love Quincy Jones, obviously an icon, but... It was the Oscars, not the Grammys. I thought maybe more of a focus on Gene Hackman and, Michelle would have been better than... And look, I love Quincy Jones, legend, all that, but I think of, actors at the Oscars.
We have a World documentary?
They did mention that. It was Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg, I believe, that did the Quincy Jones thing. So two people, they said, he discovered them. So yeah, it was nice, but it was a fine Oscars, Joe, a B. Nothing too crazy. Honora won everything.
No Demi Moore.
No Demi Moore.
Never see striptease.
A long time. Probably when I was like 15. So I loved it.
She was great in A Few Good Men too.
Great movie. The Bat, his thinking bat.
That's right. You saw that, right?
Saw that one.
So you've seen that, but you haven't seen Grease or Wizard of Oz.
Kevin Bacon also good in that movie.
He's very good in that movie. So isn't Jack Nicholson? Or is it Nicholas?
I like the other guy too, the character actor.
Yeah, the guy with the Wayne's World when he was gonna
the shorter guy, yeah.
With the cross my T's and dot my lowercase J's. What do you think of Trent's debut on 98.5 The Sports Hub?
Trent's seamless. He did his research. He's locked in.
Have you heard anybody else go over former number 4 overall picks that were tackles?
That was the first time I'd seen that deep dive into the 4 overall pick tackles, which I think it's really relevant information.
After his research, do you think the Patriots should select a tackle with 4th overall this year?
No, and I'm starting to lean into the trade back camp. When they had the 1st overall pick, I thought that was the route they should have taken. When they got the 4th, I felt a little differently because you don't have the leverage of the number 1 overall pick. But just looking at this year's draft, I think trading back is not a worst case scenario for this team.
Do you remember Doug Kyed said that from what he heard at the Combine, more people were upset that they're going to fall in the 2nd round than they getting the 4th pick overall?
Yes, and we were talking with Barth a little bit before the show. I wonder if they try and get into the end of the 1st round, with that 2nd round pick, if they try and move up and get into one of those late 1st round picks as well.
That kid Ursary from Minnesota, I keep talking about him. Big boy. Kelvin Banks I really like from Texas, too. I just don't think he'll be there late. So, all right, and what do we have tomorrow?
Bruins in Nashville.
Bruins in Nashville.
Catch any of the Bruins games this weekend, Joe?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good win. Good win on Saturday. Ugly one on Sunday.
Who's in net tomorrow?
Probably Swayman. They have a big stretch coming up, though. Florida, Tampa.
Trade Korpisalo, and I mean it as I actually think there may be a team out there that wants insurance. I really mean that. He's been good. For the most part, he's been good. Give DiPietro a shot. He's got good numbers down there. Why not? Plus, the money on the books for next year. Swayman's the guy next year, Skaz. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's wrap this thing up. I see Sarko's hanging. Sarko!
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? Listen, not just to you, but my fault. Last time I forgot to say what's up to Skaz, man. And like I told him, when I was online, I was like, he's a rock star. But you know what you are? Joe, listen to me. You are the people's choice and the people's man. That's what you are. And the people's champ. So you got 3 titles.
Ooh, the people's champ? Like The Rock?
No, I'm telling you, you got all 3. So what I'm trying to get at is, I want to tell you a quick story, right? Since you guys were talking about, wrestling tonight. All right? I want to tell you a quick story. Is that all right? Can I get this through?
You got 90 seconds. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So check this out. I don't know if you remember a spot called August Moon in Revere.
Yes, I do.
Right around the circle.
Yeah.
That was my spot. That's what I would go before going to Kowloon's. Okay?
Whoa.
So,
okay.
Listen.
That's a good spot.
Let me tell you, I love that place. Now it's a church.
Yep.
Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is that I just came up with this because I'm like, wow, I remember all this wrestling stuff. Listen, at that time, girlfriend walks up to literally, I'm not lying to you. I swear on everything. Walks up, says, look, Undertaker looks at her. He wants a picture. She wants a picture. And he looks and puts her eyes up, down, and like up,
Yeah.
And then, the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm about to get into a beef for all these damn, wrestlers right now. Like dead, I'm serious. I'm like, yo,
Sarko, you want to know? You want to know a story?
That's my girlfriend.
Yo, I love that. I love that story. Do you know that they all used to hang out at the Squire?
Oh, well, the Squire, I'm not really you know what I'm saying, that you know what I'm saying.
Strip club vibe, I get you.
Yeah, that's not really my thing. But I heard a lot of stories about that. But what I'm trying to tell you is what happened with that was really crazy. And then not only that, I was next to The Rock. I was next to all of them. A big hangry, everybody, you know what I'm saying, at the bar area and everything was great. And I thought I was really going to get into a fight with him. And then the guy, I don't know who it was. I don't even remember. He was like, oh, come on, calm down. The guy with the urn and everything.
Oh, Paul Bearer. And I'm sorry, Sarko, we're up against it. We got to go home. Love those stories, though. Thank you, Skaz. Great job, Trent, tonight. Awesome job in this hour of the sports. This is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance. Month visit and oil change. I got to say 50% of the next drive the oil change. The official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Town Fair Tire sells all the name brand tires, and we sell them all at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, because Town